Welcome, Cowboy fans, Cowboy haters alike. I'm the G, and I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. Well, we kind of did the summary of the game yesterday, and we'll probably cover, just for fun, we'll probably cover some of that again, just looking back on some things that I talked about yesterday as it applied to the game. But what I want to talk about today is Overreaction Monday. Overreaction Monday, because we're getting a lot of conversations around the Dallas Cowboys now, and I think so many people are confused, and I don't really know where I am. I got to fix my brain, because I'd already fixed my brain that the Cowboys had conceded the season. And since I had already fixed my brain that the Cowboys had conceded the season, I wasn't bothered as much by the losses, because I was kind of like, okay, well, at least we'll get to see some young guys. We'll get to see Trey Lance. We'll get to see kind of what the team is made of. So I wasn't really tripping on the Cowboys losing. But I find myself in a weird situation now, because now I'm tripping on the Cowboys winning. Now I'm tripping on the Cowboys winning, and I just didn't ever think I'd be in this frame of mind, but I'm tripping on the Cowboys winning because it's where we're watching them, we're like, okay, they're obviously trying to lose, and all of a sudden now they win the game, and it's now changing everything about what we were looking forward to in 2025 as it applies to the draft. And so now my mind is conflicted, and some people, I'd say people can kind of feel how they want to, because I can understand where people are both sides of this argument. Some people are like, man, I'm just glad to get a win. Oh, we don't want to create a losing mentality, blah, blah, blah. And some people are, well, we wanted to get in the high end of the draft. And I understand both sides of the coin, because I don't know necessarily if we were going to have a losing mentality, but at the same time, does winning one game, does winning one game eliminate a losing mentality? I mean, does winning one game do that? Because people are like, oh, you don't want, it just seemed like more of an evaluation process. And then all of a sudden, they beat the Washington Commanders of, I'll be honest with you, and I'm going to talk about this in this overreaction. I got 10 overreactions, and actually I got 11, but 10 sounds more fancier on the algorithm. I got 10. I have 11 overreactions, so I'll say I got 10 in a bonus. Yeah, I got 11. So I got 11 overreactions, and some of these I've heard from other people, and some of these I'm just kind of thinking in my own mind, kind of where I am. And so let's just kind of go through these, and then we got plenty of time for folks who just tuning in. I got pretty much a whole evening that I'm going to spend, probably till around 7:30. Yeah, definitely till 7:30. I'll be talking about the Dallas Cowboys and hoping more people join in. So for all of us early adopters, let's kind of go through this. 11 overreactions that I have as it applies to the Dallas Cowboys, and things that I've kind of gleaned from hearing other people talk. And y'all kind of tell me what you think on these overreactions. Y'all tell me what you think. Overreaction 1. Should Mike McCarthy remain the coach of the Dallas Cowboys? Should Mike McCarthy remain the coach of the Dallas Cowboys? David J., what's going on? Daniel, Jose, what's going on? Nisi, what's going on? Y'all tell me. What do y'all think? First overreaction. Mike McCarthy should remain the coach. This is the question that people are already starting to ask. And I'm telling you, if you didn't look at that game yesterday, this is why I say when you talk about box scores, it's good to look at the game and box scores so you can know how things are occurring. I was watching the game, like I said yesterday, and the score flashed across my phone on my way home, and I was like, doggone it. I want to watch the game rather than knowing the score, but I want to go ahead and, well, it flashed across my phone as I was watching the game. That's what happened. And as I'm watching the game, I'm like, wait a minute. It's 10-9. I mean, it's 10-9. And then I'm looking at it, I'm like, wait a minute. It's 17-10. I mean, how are we going to go from 17-10 with this amount of time left in the game to we're going to get to a score of 34-26? And so if you watch that game, you would think that there was some high-flying offense and a lot of good things. I mean, just a shootout almost. It wasn't. It actually wasn't a shootout. It was actually a defensive battle. I mean, a lot of people are talking about the Cowboys defense, but what about the Washington Commanders defense? It looked pretty good, except for Dan Quinn's Achilles heel. Dan Quinn can't stop the run. I don't care where he goes. What's going on, LaQueen? What's going on, Gabe? They can't stop the run. Dan Quinn can't stop the run, y'all. And the Cowboys, I mean, Rico Dowdle had his best day yesterday. They kept the game very manageable. The defense, they kept the game very manageable. But what wound up happening was, and I'm going to talk about this more as I keep going, there was some things happening that I don't think anyone anticipated. They didn't give Cavonte Turpin the memo. They didn't give him the memo. They didn't give the special teams the memo. I mean, they went video game bonkers in under 2 minutes. In almost, I should say, under 3 minutes. They went video game bonkers. They had two kickoff returns for touchdowns. I mean, it was absolutely crazy. But I'm saying all of that to say, because everyone's talking like, man, the Cowboys, boy, they're on the upswing now, man. And looking at the schedule, we're going to talk about that as we keep going. Oh, man, they could actually win out. So the question is, I mean, it's Overreaction Monday. Should Mike McCarthy remain the coach? Gabe says he thinks he will. I'll be honest with you. I keep saying it. I've been saying it. Until Mike McCarthy packs up his stuff and leaves the building, I'm not going to believe he's gone. I'm not going to believe he's gone. Jose says, nope, he shouldn't. It's time for a change. You know what? Let me read a couple more before I get my answer. Nisa says, yes, he pulls a Lovie Smith and went out in spite of Jerry. You know what? And that's going to be one of the questions coming up, Nisa. You make a great point there. What if he wins out? What if he wins out? But I'm going to put some explanations up on the screen, and then you tell me what you think. Keelan Glassby, what's going on? They was flat out stupid at the end of the game. Yes. They like to revert it back to a pumpkin like usual. Daniel says, well, despite the win yesterday, I still think that McCarthy gets fired. But again, I think Jerry's going to bring him back because he likes yes men coaches. Now, watch this, Daniel M. He can't get fired because what they're doing is they're just going to let his contract expire so they don't have to fire him. But me and my uncle has been saying the same thing, and I've been saying the same thing. I just don't know because, one, Jerry has admitted at every turn he's been the reason. Jerry has admitted at every turn, y'all, that he's been the reason why this team hasn't been as good as it should be. He's the one that didn't do anything in free agency. He's the one that let all the depth go. He's the one didn't. I mean, gotta admit, he didn't draft well this year as they have in years past. I mean, it seemed like to me the last 3 drafts have all been kind of questionable. But I think more so than questionable, I think what happened in those last 3 drafts is that we didn't have instant hits coming in. And so these guys are taking time to develop. So, but for all intents and purposes, I mean, Jerry has basically said it's his fault. And so the win yesterday, I mean, the win looked good. Minus that midway point through the fourth quarter. The carriage turned back into a pumpkin. And it looked like the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, it looked like the Dallas Cowboys. Frederick Johnson says comedy of errors in the fourth quarter. Scoring. Yep. Frederick says no, he don't think it should stay. Dangle says, yeah, Jerry is a good businessman, but not a good GM. Exactly. And so I'm like, oh, they gonna keep Mike McCarthy. Now I'm gonna give you all my explanations, because I'm gonna tell you what my answer is. My answer is a resounding My answer is no. My answer is no. Because my problem with Mike McCarthy continues to be these things, the intangible things, that in spite of how we know, how bad we know Jerry is. So where are the intangibles of Mike McCarthy being able to motivate a team? I'm going to tell y'all something that, and I could be totally off on this, but y'all tell me what you think. Y'all tell me what you think. Gabe says Dan Quinn shouldn't have kicked the ball to Kevontae Turpin. Dumb. Stupid. Absolutely stupid. They'll be running Dan Quinn out of Washington too. I give it 2 to 3 years. They'll be running him out too. He's going to underperform. Keelan said if they hadn't missed that extra point, the narrative may be different. I said the same thing. And I want us to understand a few things here about this game. One of the things is, to me, Washington isn't good as everyone thought they were. Washington was 1-3 versus 500 or better teams. They were not that good, y'all. They were not that good. They're on a 3-game slide right now. They're not that good. And for me, as it applies to Mike McCarthy, one game doesn't mean he's back. It's one game. And people are jumping from one game all the way to the what ifs. If was a fifth, we'd all be drunk. I mean, we're literally jumping to the conclusion of, man, the Cowboys can win this thing. I'm going to show you how, as much as we can win this thing, I'm sorry, y'all, but mathematically, we have to understand it will have to be exactly like this game. Do y'all realize that everything in this game went right for the Cowboys, even when it went wrong? I mean, the Rico Dowdle fumble, the blocked field goals, everything for the Cowboys went right, even when it went wrong. I mean, you think about the interception that Cooper Rush threw in the game. They said it was pass interference, but you look at the replay on it. I mean, okay, I get, I get it, but Cooper Rush still threw the ball in the wrong spot. So they really did a good job with Cooper Rush yesterday. And I'm not going to take that away from him, but we're going to talk about Cooper Rush in a moment. But I'm just kind of like, when you look at this, and we're going to talk about what you just said, Daniel Lim, the next 3 games. When you look at this, we just got to understand Mike McCarthy still will not run the ball consistently. We have to understand, this is the stuff that always bothers me about the narratives with Cooper Rush in these games that he wins. It's the same. The MO is the same in the games that Cooper Rush wins. The MO is the same. The defense, when Cooper Rush is your quarterback, your defense has to play out of its mind. It was the best defensive game of the season for the Dallas Cowboys. They literally have to play out of their mind for Cooper Rush to win. Because the moment you put pressure on Cooper Rush to win, you're in trouble. He's a backup quarterback. He does backup quarterback things. But you don't want him in shootouts. You don't want him playing from behind. You want your defense, and the defense pretty much controlled the Washington Commanders all game long. They controlled them. Mike McCarthy's even going to mention it. We're going to listen to Mike McCarthy's interview in the second hour, because I was actually glad the way Mike McCarthy described Cooper Rush. how he described the game, what happened. He was almost dead on. Let's not make Cooper Rush into Superman like people do every time he win a game. He actually was not Superman. He was very efficient. The touchdown, one of them was a busted coverage. The other one, we got to understand, at the end of the day, Washington isn't as good as we thought they were. And some people didn't even think they were that good. And so I'm telling you, they benefited yesterday from the perfect storm. They had the perfect storm yesterday. I mean, hardly no adversity in the game other than things they caused themselves. It was the perfect storm. And I'm going to tell you another reason why I don't think Mike McCarthy should remain the coach. Let me tell y'all something. Y'all might not realize this, but I'm going to tell you what I think motivated this team. I'm going to tell you what I think motivated this team. And I'm going to do a video about it this week. I'm going to tell y'all something. These guys watch the media. They watch television. They've been listening to things that people have been saying. And people have been saying this team is tanking. All those videos we watch, they're watching social media. Their family watches social media. They're watching all the videos of people talking about Micah Parsons and Trayvon Diggs laughing on the sideline. They're watching those videos of people talking about CeeDee Lamb and Trayvon Diggs at the club. They're watching those videos of people showing Micah Parsons saying crazy thing like this is a good team and I'm glad we're in this situation. He didn't sound like to me he was tired. They're not in tank mode because he sounded like he was in tank mode. I mean, when you've been listening to everything this team has been saying. And so they're realizing, the players, I believe, the players, and I'm going to tell you something. Niecy has been joking about this. But I think, some things that she's been joking about, I think people took for real. I think other people were thinking what Niecy was saying, that the relationship between Micah Parsons and Dan Quinn was too close. So you're saying, okay, what are you getting at, preacher? Watch this. I don't think the motivation was Mike McCarthy. I think they got tired of people talking about him. I think they got tired of it. I don't think it's nothing Mike McCarthy said. I think they got tired of it. Not only did they get tired of it, DaRon Bland came back. DaRon Bland played a great game. Butler, who this kid? Practice squad guy for a long time. Hollywood guy trying to be a movie star, played an All-American. He played out of his mind. And I'm telling y'all, this is one of the reasons why they don't want no part of Trey Lance. Because guys who are playing for jobs, they play different. They don't care about anything going on with the circumstances swirling around the team. Butler is saying, no, I'm trying to make an NFL squad. I'm tired of being a practice squad guy. So I think people were motivated. Watch this. You don't find it to be coincidental? Niecy, where you at? We don't find it coincidental that Micah Parsons played the best game of the season against Dan Quinn? Who y'all think motivated him? I promise you it wasn't Mike McCarthy. He heard the talk of Micah Parsons, Dan Quinn friends. He's not going to play hard against Dan Quinn. That's his buddy. Dan Quinn, him. They're violating the NFL bylaws. Oh, he's going to take it easy. You don't think Micah Parsons heard that talk? Notice how he played the game yesterday? Where's that Micah Parsons been? Don't give me he been hurt. Where has he been? He was doing nothing after the Cleveland game. Where has he been? He came back. He wasn't playing like that. Where has he been? People gave him credit for the Eagles game, minus those 2 sacks. He wasn't there. Where was he against the Houston Texans? Where was he? Why is it it's the Washington Commanders game? Micah Parsons gets up. And I mean, he got up. Dan Quinn, Mike McCarthy didn't motivate him. I don't believe he did. I don't believe that's what motivated him. I believe what motivated him is also Mike Zimmer. Mike Zimmer challenged him. Be the leader you say you want to be. And not only did Mike Zimmer challenge him, Mike Zimmer moved him around, did some different things with him. But I'm telling you, Micah Parsons was extra motivated yesterday because I believe, I could be totally wrong. This is Overreaction Monday, but I'm telling you my reaction. I believe Micah Parsons got tired of all the talk and people telling him to shut up and go out there and play the game. I believe Micah Parsons said, I'm not about to take, if I don't go out here and play this one, they will say I threw the game for my buddy Dan Quinn. Micah Parsons was on a mission yesterday. He was. He was on a mission. And he hasn't been on that type of mission the whole season. He has not been on that mission. And so he looked great yesterday. He really did. He looked great yesterday. But even with Micah Parsons, I'm not giving you one game. I'm not giving this team one game. This team, we have got to stop every time they do anything good. I was talking about this yesterday. We got to stop always looking for the good in folk and look for the fruit that they bear. We too often looking for the good. Stop looking for the good. Look for the fruit. The fruit tells you what the tree is. The fruit tells you what the tree is. We get folk who say, man, that's a beautiful tree. The leaves look good. Hey, man, that's a beautiful. Okay, what kind of tree is it? Oh, we don't know yet. The fruit haven't bared. I think it's this. I think it's this. I mean, it's little. It might be a pear tree. It might be an apple tree. No. Let them fruit. Because the fruit we've seen so far, if we think that this team is actually not bad, if we think this team, the reason why certain things have been happening because of certain people, I'm going to debunk all of this stuff in this Overreaction Monday, because if we're saying some of the things that we're saying, then why in the world are we going to get rid of Mike McCarthy? Why? None of us have a leg to stand on. Why? Because Nisi just said it. Nisi said if he wins out, well, here it is. I said, what if he wins out? What if Mike McCarthy wins out? What if he wins out? Daniel says the O-line yesterday, despite losing your two best guards, were tremendous. I'm gonna bring that up in a moment. They went out there and protected Cooper Rush like he's the leader of the team. I'm gonna bring that up in a moment too. We got to be careful. We're saying things that's not, and I'm not saying, Daniel, as much. I'm not saying what you're saying is not true, but I'm saying some of the connotations you're making in the statement. Let's be careful, because I don't believe those to be true. I don't believe those to be true. I think we got to see I think we got to, if we watch the game and then we get the star-shaped glasses off, if we stop looking at the game through the glasses that we want to look through them and really evaluate this game, we won't be saying some of the things we're saying, because we're saying some things and we're talking out of both sides of our mouth. I'm saying it. Washington isn't good. They're on a 3-game skid. The Washington Commanders are not that good. I mean, that's just the facts. It is. They're not that good. And Dan Quinn, the same thing he was doing here is the same thing he's doing there. He can't stop the run. Jaden Daniels, great, going to be a great quarterback. But that team is still far, far from being division leaders. They may give the Cowboys and the Eagles some problems in the future, but I don't see that team, because, watch this, Dan Quinn, all that draft capital, Dan Quinn is running out of that draft capital, y'all. He's running out of it. What's going to happen next year? I mean, he gave up 3 draft picks for Lattimore, and he ain't even playing. I give him 2 years. Unless Dan Quinn makes a turnaround. Watch what I'm telling you. They will be running Dan Quinn out of Washington in 2 to 3 years. Nisi said Mike figured out the game plan too late. Give Jerry a fake play sheet. Nisi, you know they're saying that, and it's funny to me because there's pictures of people were saying, is that a play sheet that Jerry Jones has in the booth? I talked about this early in the season because if I'm not mistaken, Mike McCarthy alluded to they take the game plan to Jerry and Steven every week. Why did he do that? Why did they take the game? I just don't know. Maybe this is something I don't know about, but I just don't know a lot of GMs to where people are taking the game plans for the week. This is Dallas Cowboy nonsense. It's crazy. It's crazy. I'm telling you, it's crazy stuff. Gabe said if the Cowboys make a mini run, that Monday night game against the Bengals in 2 weeks becomes the huge for both teams. Okay. We're going to look at that in a moment. I got that on my overreaction list because I want us to look at some of the things that we're talking about because I'm going to show us we're saying things because I think we're looking through rose-colored lenses. We're looking, and I notice how we keep saying if. I notice how we're saying, and why are we saying that? One game. We're saying that because of one game against the Commanders team that we're now realizing is not as good as we thought it was. But number two, don't let me take anything away from the Cowboys on this from this perspective, because I said it yesterday. If you ask me how the Cowboys won that game, and I had to divvy it up in hundreds, it wasn't 33 in the third, 33 in the third, and 33 in the fourth. No. It was defense, special teams, and then the offense. The defense controlled the game to where Cooper Rush could play within himself. He didn't have to do anything extra. He just didn't. People don't want to talk about it, but they got turnovers. That matters. Do y'all realize that we won the turnover battle? If I'm not mistaken, let me look at this. If I'm not mistaken, we won the turnover battle 3-0. We won the turnover battle, y'all, 3-0. How do you win the turnover battle and you barely win the game? I mean, I don't mind winning the game ugly because it's hard to win in this league. But I'm just saying, we don't realize, as crazy as this is, football is a game of inches. And there were so many inches that the Cowboys were able to win this thing on. And what I'm saying is, I'm not hating on those things because, hey man, sometimes you need luck in the game too. You do. You need luck in the game too. But the problem is with luck per se is you can't count on luck to happen every single week. You can't count on luck every single week. Because if you're going to count on luck every single week, then you're going to have a problem. We won the turnover battle 3-1. We won the turnover battle 3-1. And going into the third quarter, the game was 10-9. It was a defensive battle is what it was. I give the Dallas Cowboys defense, and I've been saying this the whole season, I give Mike Zimmer so much credit, y'all. Zimmer has been doing so much more with less. He hasn't been complaining. He hasn't been making excuses. Zimmer's been telling it like it is. He puts his nose to the film. He puts a game plan together. And I've been telling people that Mike Zimmer gets better every week. He stops the run. What's been letting Mike Zimmer down is his secondary play. Did you notice what he had yesterday? He had great secondary play. You want to know what he had against the Houston Texans? Even though they lost? He had good secondary play for the most part. And then it fell apart in the fourth quarter. But if you give him the secondary play, he can fix the stuff up front. He can stop the run. He can stop the running back. He can't stop the quarterback as good, but he can stop the running back. I mean, this was us yesterday. That's why when I was watching the game, I was like, wait a minute, I saw the score. How in the world, with the score being 10-9 in the third quarter, how in the world is this game going to end up 34-26? It was the weirdest, craziest game. I don't know if I can remember a game that's been as crazy as the game I saw yesterday. It was absolutely crazy. Keelan Gillespie. I just said it, didn't I, Keelan? Defense had 2 good games. Cleveland as well. People don't understand. That's the Cooper Rush formula. When the defense is lights out, you keep the game close. Cooper Rush don't have to play outside of himself. He don't have to do anything stupid. You run the ball so they can't tee off on you. You be successful in running the ball. Now keep in mind, we are the worst run-stopping team in the league. You want to know who number 30 was? The Washington Commanders. We ran on them. That's it. We ran on them. We ran on them. And we didn't run it as much as I would have liked, but we ran on them. And when we ran on them, Rico Dowdle was successful. And what we did, we beat them in time of possession, 35-25. The defense got them off the field. The defense played excellent. They kept the game to where you could have a fumble. They kept the game to where you could get a blocked field goal. They kept the game no matter what transpired. The defense, y'all, the defense for the Dallas Cowboys rose to the occasion. They rose to the occasion. What's going on, Freddie? Quinn is one hell of a defensive coordinator, but one lousy head coach. And no, I know I'm talking about Quinn's inability to motivate the players, because I said before, motivation has to come from within. And Freddie, I thought about you when I was talking about this early. I'm glad you got on. I don't think, Freddie, people understand what we were watching yesterday. I listened to Mike McCarthy's post-game, his post-game speech, some of it. He was the same old Mike McCarthy. It's like watching paint dry. Boring. Mike McCarthy. This team, whether people realize it or not, you were watching people who were motivated by something in here. That old line, you know what they're thinking? Man, Zach Martin, I got my opportunity now. Awesome. You know what he's thinking? I got my opportunity now. So you going to give me an opportunity? I don't need no more motivation. They know what's going on this team. They can see there's a lot of people that are not signed on this team. Anything could go down with this team in the offseason. People are playing. The people who they are letting play. You know what they're saying? I'm telling y'all, Butler, go follow him. He's got a huge following on social media, on TikTok. That kid has been on the practice squad. You know what he's saying? I don't want to just be TikTok famous. I want folk to know I can play some doggone football. He was motivated. Not by Mike McCarthy. He was motivated. Zimmer called the plan, but Zimmer, you got to understand, Zimmer's old school, very consistent. Zimmer's not going to do a lot of crazy stuff. Just be disciplined. Do your job. Keep everything in front of you. Stay in your gaps. Stay in your lanes. Control your zone. Zimmer's old school. Very fundamental. What had been killing Zimmer as the season went on? He was stopping the run, but the secondary play. But look at the secondary play. Deron Bland, no Trayvon Diggs. I mean, Butler, I would dare say, is better than Carson. Better than Carson. Daniel Lim, I'm with you. But I will say their defense played pretty good too. Because if you look at the game, I mean, the Cowboys, they literally only had 10 points in the third quarter. But then all of a sudden, there's a crazy stat out there about the Washington Commanders defense. They had given up before the Cowboys 5 touchdowns in or near the red zone to guess who? Tight ends. Cooper Rush had the easiest touchdown he'll ever have in his life to Schoonmaker. Nobody went with Schoonmaker. There was no way Cooper Rush doesn't make that touchdown throw. Easiest one you'll ever get in your life. But other than that, I mean, even their defense, I'll give it to them. They played really well. They did. The Cowboys will finish the season 7-10 or 6-11. Keedy boy. Okay, we're going to look at that in just a moment. Little Dallas Cowboy, what's going on with you and Keedy boy? It's rush hour. Had to be perfect to win the game. No, he didn't have to be perfect. See, this is the part I don't understand. People don't get about the Cooper Rush games. It's not him that has to be perfect. It's everything around him that has to be perfect. Because when everything around him is perfect, he doesn't have to do anything extra. That's what kills Cooper Rush. That's why I'm telling you, this is not a Dak Prescott discussion. This is an NFL discussion. The NFL knows this about Cooper Rush. That's why he's a career backup. The NFL knows it. They watch the tape too, y'all. They watch the tape more than we do. They are watching Cooper Rush and saying he is not a product of the system only. No. Cooper Rush, in order for him to win, he needs everything around him to be perfect. The defense was downright perfect. It was. The defense was perfect. The defense was downright perfect, y'all, around Cooper Rush. It was. I just said it. How do you win the turnover battle? You win it by 2 turnovers, 3 turnovers to 1. And your defense, you're telling me your defense is going to have 3 turnovers. And in the third quarter, it's still going to be 10-9. I'll take that every day of the week. I'll take it every day of the week. And have I not been saying this? Have I not been saying this about Dak Prescott? See, we get double-minded when it comes to Dak Prescott. Did I not say this not just last week, not just the week before? Dak Prescott ought to be able to make mistakes on the team and his defense rise to the occasion. Do y'all realize the Washington Commanders, their defense also rose to the occasion? The Washington Commanders had 3 turnovers. This is what I'm saying about Cooper Rush. How did the other team have 3 turnovers and Cooper Rush still only has 10 points in the third quarter? Wouldn't you think if you got turnovers, you could turn those into points? Touchdowns? No, they wanted to make sure, like Mike McCarthy is going to tell us when I show us in the second hour, he wanted to play within themselves, ground and pound, long drives, keep Cooper Rush within himself. Every time he makes a good throw, I said this 2 weeks ago, you have to settle Cooper Rush down. He make a good throw, okay, run the ball. Settle him back down. He make a great throw, settle him back down. Because if you don't, he'll start making ill-advised throws. So what you do is everyone around him plays perfect, which keeps him within himself. That's what you do with Cooper Rush. That's how you win. But what I do have a problem with the Cowboys with is imagine if they had this same thought process with Dak Prescott, who's better than Cooper Rush. Because there's a lot of other teams that have that same thought process in their minds. The Kansas City Chiefs. You watch what happens once Pacheco works himself back into the Chiefs. They're going to be doing the same thing. The Detroit Lions, they're a juggernaut right now. You know what they're doing? They're running the ball. They're picking and choosing. They're letting the play action work. They're picking and choosing. Make sure as much as possible, don't let Jared Goff play outside of himself. Because if Jared Goff has to play outside of himself, Jared Goff is going to make mistakes. Freddie says, I'm talking about Quinn's inability to close out games. Well, not only does he have an inability to close out games, which we know about Dan Quinn from the Super Bowl against the New England Patriots. But we also got that same example from Dan Quinn being here. I heard someone say today, it's fascinating. They said that game, and I don't know if I believe that they said that game we saw was the same thing that we saw against Green Bay last year in the playoffs. I don't believe that, because if that team, let me think. They said that defense for the Commanders was the defense. No, I don't believe that. Because that defense that they played yesterday, not just Dak Prescott, any of the top 20 to 15 quarterbacks in the league, they would have literally destroyed the Washington Commanders with what they were doing yesterday. Lil Davis said the defense was cool till they tried to give it away. Yep, midway through the fourth quarter, they turned back to a pumpkin. Turpin got that great kick return, but we were already winning. I think Cavante Turpin sealed the game because I think they were on the verge of getting beat. I believe they were on the verge of getting beat because that touchdown to McLaughlin, that touchdown was, all of a sudden they started kind of opening up on the Cowboys because if they don't score right there, then what happens if the Commanders come down and score and make it, okay, now I'm going to put them in an uneasy position. What if the Cowboys don't score? What if Cavante Turpin doesn't make that return? See, we don't realize how good it is when special teams do what Cavante Turpin did. That's why we call them special teams. It's special when they return a kick because they alleviated so much pressure off of Cooper Rush. So much pressure off of Mike McCarthy because now Mike McCarthy doesn't have to say, okay, it's coming down to the wire. It's 20-20. It's coming down to the nitty gritty. Now I got to get in the end zone. I have to get in the end zone now with Cooper Rush. I have to get down here and get a touchdown. I have to get down here and get wait, hold on. Cavante Turpin is gone. It changed the whole game. It alleviated so much pressure off of Mike McCarthy, so much pressure off of Cooper Rush. It did. They were not in pressure situations the whole day. That helped. And so what happened is the pressure got put back on the Commanders. Daniels, he kind of rose to the occasion. McLaughlin, he kind of rose to the occasion. 86-yard touchdown. And I'm going to talk about that in a moment. The rest is history. Butler was awesome. Yes, talked about him earlier. The reason why they won that game against Washington was because they were facing their former D. Daniel, this is why I'm saying people have to understand what they were watching. This team was heavily motivated, and Mike didn't do it. Mike didn't motivate this team, y'all. I'm telling y'all. And this is why I asked the question on Overreaction Monday. Should Mike McCarthy stay? Because I'm telling y'all, these conversations, they're already brewing. They're already brewing. And some people are literally afraid that Mike McCarthy might win out. They're afraid. Because Nisi mentioned it. He wins out, and he wins in spite of Jerry. He deserves to come back. What if he wins out? And I got another question. What if he don't win out? How many games to make a case to stay? What if he wins all of them except for one? Heck, what if he wins all of them except for two? What's the threshold, y'all? What's the threshold for Mike McCarthy to stay? Because I'm going to tell you something. If Mike McCarthy wins all of these games and makes the playoffs and Jerry Jones gets rid of Mike McCarthy, ain't no way. Ain't no way. Ain't no way he can do it. Ain't no way he can do it. I'm telling y'all, Dak Delusion, I saw you say the same thing today on other people's line. With Rush, no, it don't. I'm going to show you how much you don't know what you're talking about. This team does not play more confident without Dak Prescott. They don't. They don't play more confident with Cooper Rush. You don't understand what you're watching. We got a bunch of young, and I'm going to prove this later on because this isn't about Dak Prescott. This is the problem with people. If the Dallas Cowboys lose, it's Dak Prescott. If the Cowboys win, it's Dak Prescott. When are we going to stop this narrative? It's so stupid. Cooper Rush and Mike McCarthy had an intimate knowledge of Dan Quinn's defense from the years together, that part two, in Dallas, which allowed them to play better. But, Gabe, you think about it, they didn't play. It was 10-9 in the third quarter. How good did they really play? It's literally 10-9 in the third quarter. No. The defense. I'm giving Mike Zimmer all the love because Mike McCarthy mentioned it in his press conference. He said, give credit to the defense. Why, Mike? Because they kept the game close the whole game to where we didn't have to do anything outside of the game plan. Ground and pound. Safe throws. Don't make him play outside of himself. Run the ball. Rico Dowdle, while he didn't get the 25 carries, but he was running chunk yards. He was running chunk yards. He was keeping the sticks moving. He was doing just enough, y'all, so that they could continue. Because, Mike, you're going to hear him in the second hour. Mike McCarthy said it, so we could stay within the game plan. What was the game plan, Mike? What do you mean ground and pound? We're going to run the ball just enough to win time of possession, long drives, keep them a little off kilter. I've been saying this stuff for weeks. This is why you run the ball. You don't run the ball to have a dominant run game. You run the ball to dominate the game. And if you get a dominant run game, in the case of the Philadelphia Eagles, we're going to talk about them a little bit later. I'm tired of people talking bad about the Philadelphia Eagles. When you run the ball, you dominate the game. And if you just happen to have a dominant running back, then your dominant running back is going to dominate the game. But you run, and you run. You look at Rico Dowdle. He didn't do anything above his season average. I've been saying this from the beginning. This man's average has been 4.4 yards a carry. You want to know what his average was? 4.5 yards a carry. He didn't do anything he hadn't been doing if you just run him the ball consistently. This is Mike McCarthy. It's not that we couldn't run the ball. Mike McCarthy refused to run the ball. But Rico Dowdle, once again, he did a great job, 19 to 86. And like I said, it didn't help. It didn't hurt them that they got some turnovers. That didn't hurt them. You got to realize turnovers will typically give you short fields. Turnovers will typically stop their drives. I'm telling us what we're watching, and we don't. Some people we don't understand. This is the formula. And this is why I'm saying about the Cowboys, we got to be careful because there were so many things that happened. This ain't happening every week. It's not. Keelan says, look at who the Commanders had as captains for the coin toss. All those ex-Dallas Cowboy players. And you know what that told you, Keelan? I believe just like the Cowboys, said it yesterday, I believe just like the Cowboys were watching and listening what everybody was saying about this team. Let me tell y'all something. I keep telling the same story what I used to tell my sons in high school. I would tell my sons in high school. One of them was a cornerback, really big cornerback too. And I would always tell him when the coach would be saying, well, we should beat this team, and this. And I tell him, no, I said, don't you believe that? I said, I don't care if you're playing the sorriest team in the division. You play them like they're the best team in the division. You put their face in the dirt, you smack them every chance you get. You play them like they're the best, and you will beat them down. Dan Quinn was listening, and those players, I believe, were listening to everybody saying the Dallas Cowboys were in tank mode, and they thought they were going to run out there with a blowout. I'm telling you, if I was a coach for a team, I'd tell them, now don't listen to what anyone's saying about that team. Number one, it's a professional, not a college, not a high school. It's a professional football team. Number two, any given Sunday, you never know what's in a person's mind. Number three, we are going to prepare for this team like they are the best team in the league. We're going to look at everything they do well, and we're going to stop them, and we're going to stomp them in the ground. That's what you tell your team. You tell them to turn off all that mess that people are saying. These are professionals. These are young guys. They got some young guys that are going to be playing. Beware of young, hungry guys who want to make a team. You better be careful when people got something to prove, y'all. I'm telling you. Washington is a very young team, is up and coming. They won 7 games. Yep. But I think the problem is, MG, they were not as good as everyone think. Yeah, Butler played great. Yep, Nisi. Yeah, I was talking about that issue we were talking about Nisi. You think about it. I believe that Mike was motivated by things like you were saying. Dan Quinn's his buddy. Dan Quinn's his boy. A lot of people were talking about that. And so I think he took it to heart. MG said Parsons tried for the Commanders. I wish it was true. Boy, I wish it was true because I already know we getting 3-4 draft picks off that. Lewis, what's going on? Their motivation came from Dan Quinn on that sideline having too much fun. I'm telling us, Lewis, people do not understand. We were not watching a team that just did a 180. They didn't do a 180 based on something that Mike McCarthy. I heard Brian Broaddus and them guys talking this morning talking about this team was playing hard for Mike McCarthy. No, they're not. They didn't play hard for Mike McCarthy because if they're playing hard for Mike McCarthy, why didn't they do it the week before that? The week before that, the week before that, the week before that. This team didn't play hard for Mike McCarthy. There were people on that field that said, we're playing because we got something to prove. I'm a starter in this league. There's no way. This is what they should have been motivated by. Oh, Dan Quinn, you took our players? Oh, you made the players you took from us? You made them the captains? Oh, Dan Quinn, you think because you think you're going to beat us? No. That's how you motivate yourself. You tell yourself, I'd be doggone if Dan Quinn beat us. Folk who have never played competitive sports, they don't understand what I'm saying. But folk who have played competitive sports, there are certain things that motivate you, man. This is that level that Freddie's talking about. There are things that motivate you that you don't have to motivate me, bro. I got enough motivation. I know Dan Quinn, our ex-coach, think he got this game in the bag. He been clowning all week. Made the ex-players the captain. He over there on the sideline. He's so relaxed. He know they got this game. Okay. I don't know if you've been in that situation. I've been in a situation like that before. Somebody thinking, yeah, we're gonna run him over. We're gonna do whatever. You think you're gonna do what you want to do to me? Okay. I got a whole different level. I got a whole different level of motivation now. Whole different motivation. Commanders have LUVU don't want Parsons. Oh, LaVu want Parsons. Oh, man, I'm going to tell you something. You can't convince me of that because for what they gave up for Lattimore, man, they would throw the whole draft for Micah Parsons. Dan Quinn loves Micah Parsons. Jay Army, what's going on? Mike Zimmer has been calm and chill. Usually Mike Zimmer is getting on to his players and yelling and just bringing that nice discipline. I haven't seen nor do I see him motivate the players. I don't know. It's his game plan. And they were talking about it, Jay Army. Why did Mike Zimmer choose this game? Why did he choose this game? Why did Mike Zimmer choose this game, Jay Army, to go and challenge Micah Parsons the way that he did? He chose this game. Better understand something. Mike Zimmer knows how to motivate folk too. He old school, but he know how to motivate too. And Mike Zimmer playing been tight. I'm gonna tell y'all something. I got some stuff about Mike Zimmer. Let me keep moving because I ain't gonna never get past all these. But I'm gonna keep moving. I want to see what y'all thoughts on these as much as I can. Niecy said, where's the organ button? Yes. I'm telling you, Niecy. I'm telling you. And this is that stuff that Freddie been talking about, y'all. I'm telling you, I've played competitive sports. And I don't even have to play competitive sports. There are things that I've done in my life, and I'm competitive at them. And when there are certain things, folks don't have to motivate me. There are certain things I'm like, okay, this person taking me for granted. I go, okay, all right, I got you. You about to see the worst me. You are about to see the worst me you ever wanted to see. That's how I look at certain things. Man, Michael Jordan used to do this stuff. He was a master at it. Michael Jordan would get motivated by stuff that wasn't even true. Michael Jordan would get motivated. He said that when people said that Clyde Drexler was as good as him, he took it as an insult. That's how you motivate yourself. That's how you motivate yourself. But let me keep going. Because some of this stuff, it's all going to fold into it. And so it says, what if he wins out? I also said, how many games does he make a case to stay? How many games does he make a case to stay? And so I just think the Mike McCarthy thing is fascinating. I do. And the more games he wins, the more this is going to be a discussion. You know why? Because the Dallas Cowboys are going to beat the New York Giants. They are. Y'all don't understand something. The New York Giants are in full tank mode. They're not going to do what the Dallas Cowboys did. This is why I'm torn. I'm going to bring this up in a moment. But overreaction number 2.
Yes! Here we go!
Is Cooper Rush better than we thought? Is Cooper Rush better than we thought? Because I'm going to say he's not. I don't think he's better than what we thought. Hold on just a second. I don't think Cooper Rush is better than we thought. I don't. Tell me I'm lying. Did the Dallas Cowboys defense, did that defense not remind you of Dan Quinn's defense in 2022? Did that defense not remind you of Dan Quinn's defense in 2022 and even 2023? It's the best game. Does anybody else not find this to be coincidental? They have the best game against Dan Quinn. Why? How? How? Why does it happen against Dan Quinn? This team, y'all, was motivated. They were motivated to beat Dan Quinn. They were. Whether we accept it or not, they were motivated to beat Dan Quinn because Dan Quinn rolled up in here thinking basically, did y'all see what the fans were chanting? We want Dallas. We want the Cowboys. This team was motivated. This team was motivated. And the formula for Cooper Rush is just like it was in 2022. 2 turnovers, 2 interceptions. What was it? 2 interceptions, 1 fumble? That's basically what they were doing in 2022. They were holding teams to below 20 points. Hello, the score is fake. And I don't know if their score is as fake as, I don't know if you call it fake, but the score isn't what it is, 34-26. I mean, all of those points came with less than, 6 minutes to go in the game? I mean, they went on a flurry of points. It was crazy. It was literally crazy. But I'm telling you, Cooper Rush, the formula, everyone around him, they must play perfect for him to win. And people may not realize it. The Cowboys played an almost perfect game. Lewis said he was fired last year to let him play out the contract. Yep, I think so too. MG said Dan Quinn will be fired after a season or 2. I give him 2 seasons. I give him 2 seasons. Easy. Cam Chillen. Yep, defense. I'm telling you, people do not understand. Defense wins championships. They do. Yep, Cam Chillen, I mentioned it. The kicker messed up, and I'm going to mention it some more. I'm going to talk about this some more because we got to understand everything that happened in this game. Let's not try to build the rest of the season on this game. Do we not realize how many things that happened in this game that literally, while they may happen again, they will not happen again in the same game. They won't. They will not happen in the same game again. The Cowboys had everything that could happen go well, even when it didn't go well. It's not often you get that, y'all. What's going on? I forgot to greet you. What's going on, MG? Cam Chillen, LaQueen. LaQueen said Stephen Jones said today when asked about how well Richards played, He didn't give him props, but said he was a high ankle sprain. So they put in who they want, and they were not happy. Dallas won that game. They were not. They didn't, and that's why I'm gonna get to that point in just a moment. That's one of my overreaction questions. They did not anticipate winning that game. And it makes me wonder, y'all, did Mike McCarthy kind of stick it to Jerry Jones by winning that game? Because if y'all don't think Jerry Jones wanted a top 10 pick, you crazy. Jerry Jones wants a top 10 pick. I mean, we thinking running backs. We thinking wide receivers. I keep hearing about a couple of defensive tackles from Michigan. And I think they're going to be a hot commodity in the draft. Yep, Cam Chillen, the defense was relentless. Gabe, yep, Dan Quinn's the same head coach that was up 28-3 and lost to Tom Brady. Yep, and that's why they ran him out of town. And they're going to run him out of town here too. They're going to run him out of town there too before it's over. What's going on, Robert? How's everything going? Keedy Boy says it seemed like when Rush plays, McCarthy calls better plays for some reason. No, watch this. He's not calling per se better plays. I said this a couple of weeks ago, Keedy. Limitations breed creativity. When I know, when I have something that I say I can do everything with, sometimes I'm my own worst enemy. Because if I can do everything with this thing, then I'm going to try to do everything with this thing. But if you give me something and say, okay, y'all remember this? I remember as a child, I used to always want that big box of 64 count crayons. Y'all remember those? 64 count with the crayons sharpened on the front. So basically, when you get ready to color, you got 64 colors to choose from. You ever notice what happens when you have a whole bunch of choices? You almost want to try out everything you got. And then you wind up getting a color and you go, oh, I didn't really want to use that color. And then you go, oh, I didn't want to use that color, but you're just trying out colors. And then by the time you finally get down to the basic colors, you done messed up a few places, and so the coloring don't look as good. You know what was crazy, though? My cousin could get the 8 crayon coloring box with just the basic colors, along with black and white. Black, white, red, blue, green, yellow, orange, brown, blue, and violet, whatever. How could my picture with 64 colors not look as good as her picture with 8 colors? You think she was a better colorer than me? I was actually an artist almost in middle school and high school. It was really good. Not as good as my family. They have for some reason, we have this thing about drawing and art. And my dad was like superb, lost talent. I mean, missed talent, missed opportunity. I wasn't as good, but I was pretty good. She wasn't as good as me. But because she didn't have as many choices, she did with what she had the best she could. And because the limitations, she did better than me. Limitations, y'all. Limitations. If we understand it, limitations will sometimes bring the best out of us. It'll bring the best out of us. Gee, it's just like I said it's just like it was in 2022. Cooper Rush had a good defense where he could manage the game. Mike McCarthy's going to say the same. This is the formula for Cooper Rush. If everything around Cooper Rush is perfect, he wins games. And not to mention, he had a lot of luck. David said, here it is, a lot of luck. Look, 2 missed PATs, a punt return. The fact that Quinn chose not to go for 2 on that last touchdown when he had previously gone for 2 and got it earlier. We got lucky. And you know what happened? They spooked Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn raised up that one so quick. Dan Quinn, when he raised up that one, he showed his team weakness. Now, I'm at home, bruh. I'm at home. We got momentum. It's 27-26. Let's put these dudes to bed. I don't want to take the Cowboys to overtime. I want to beat them. I want to get ahead of them, and now I'm going to put Cooper Rush exactly where I want him. 27-28. Show me what you got, Cooper Rush. Show me what you got. There's no time on the clock for you to be playing around running now. Now you're going to have to show me what you got, Cooper Rush. I'm going to make Mike McCarthy, because y'all know Mike McCarthy, situational football, gets very antsy. You're going to show me what you got now, Mike. Dan Quinn panicked. Dan panicked, y'all, I'm telling you. I ain't never seen somebody hand go up so fast talking about 1 point. I'm like you, David. I went for the 2. I'm at home, man. I'm going for the 2. Robert said, I keep thinking back to that shot of Jerry in the skybox with that agitated look on his face. Jerry looked worse in a win yesterday than Jerry looked in any loss I've seen this season. Jerry's face literally looked like a man who had lost. It did. It looked like a man that lost. And so I want to give y'all these real quick so I can move on to the next one. I got so many of these. I want to make sure I get through all of them. Cooper Rush is better than we thought. And my answer is a resounding no. No, he's not. Nope, he's not. Perfect team game for 3.5 quarters. Ran the ball well. Rico's best run game. Limited rushes passes. Didn't throw 55 times. Busted coverages by the Commanders. And I'm talking busted coverages. No turnovers. Nullified. And I'm sorry, they had 1 fumble, but they had no interceptions. Nullified by a pass interference. Team reduced penalties 4 for 20. People may not realize it, but that helped Cooper Rush out a lot. He didn't have to do anything extra. He didn't have to do anything extra. Just stay within the game plan. Stay within the game plan. The defense got 3 turnovers. Commander's secondary not good. You know how I know? They gave up a farm for Lattimore, who still can't play for him. Gave up 5, now 6 TDs to tight ends in or near the red zone. O-line for the Dallas Cowboys. O-line played their best game of the season. Mike McCarthy kept the game plan very simple. And again, I said no turnovers, but they did have 1 turnover, which was a fumble. Make sure I correct that real quick. They had 1 fumble, but the key is, but they didn't have any interceptions because Cooper Rush was turning the ball over. Cooper Rush was turning the ball over at an alarming rate, if you ask me. And so they had 1 fumble, no INTs. So when you start adding all of this stuff up, this is the kind of game, and I said this and I've been saying this is the kind of game that if you're a quarterback, this is what you want. This is what you want. 1 fumble, no INT nullified, team reduced penalties 4 for 20. This is exactly what you want. And this is how Cooper Rush won in 2022. And if the Cowboys continue this, who knows what they can do as a team? Who knows what they can do? Let me read a couple of your comments. Nisi said Turpin broke ankles on that return, and he broke the game open too. He broke the game open because I'm telling us they alleviated Cooper Rush from having to play outside of himself. I would have loved to see what happens if they tie the game up. What happens if Dan Quinn goes for 2? What happens? But the look on Cooper Rush's face on that return, I'm telling you, he realizes right there, I'm off the hook. I don't have to go down for the game-winning drive. I'm off the hook. It's back in the hands of who it deserves to be in, the defense. But instead, The special team said, hold my drink. We're about to get a piece of this game too. And the special teams, in the last 5 minutes of the game, the special teams rose to the occasion. And they literally took the game over. I think it's an NFL record. 2 kickoff returns in the fourth quarter. Insane. In the last 5 minutes of the quarter. I'm sorry, you couldn't have scripted it better on the John Madden football game. You couldn't have. And that's the kind of stuff that you got to understand something. You cannot depend on this type of stuff every single week. You can't. Because the next team that rolls in here now, guess what they're saying? Oh, okay, the Cowboys won the game. All right, they're a little bit better than everybody said. Okay, we back on our grind. Make sure we're going to play the Cowboys. They're not going to catch us sleeping. They're not going to catch us sleeping. And so the next question is, y'all tell me. My next overreaction is the Cowboys are going to make a playoff run. What do y'all think? Because this is all the talk I keep hearing people say. Yeah, he did. He broke the hearts of the Washington fans. On the onside kick, Wanye Thomas should have just gone down instead of score. Washington doesn't get the ball back. Even with the touchdown, it was still a one-score game. Yeah. It was revenge on Dan Quinn for the defense. Oh, yeah, they got him. Dan Quinn underestimated just how hungry this team was, and probably, watch this, Stephon Gilmore said, Mike McCarthy threw that game against Green Bay. So if Stephon Gilmore said it, you don't think other teams believed it too? I mean, you don't think other people on the team believed it too? He's not the only one. I'm telling you, he's not the only one that said. I'm sure he's not the only one that said that. Yep, that 27-26 mixed extra point, it was crazy. Dak played injured, I think. Okay, y'all probably talking about something else. Defense was stopping the run. Yep. They were. What's going on, Carl? Yeah, the thing is, people have to understand, Dak really has nothing to do with this. It has nothing to do with it. And I'm going to show that in just a moment. This isn't about Dak Prescott. When people start talking about how the Cowboys play, it's not about Dak Prescott. I think what we're watching some players that they got motivated by Dan Quinn. They were motivated by Dan Quinn thinking they were going to easily beat him. They were motivated by some of the things that were coming out in the press. You don't want to be a team that everybody says tanking, because when you're a team that everybody says tanking, people say, well, that's a terrible team. Shannon Sharp said there was nobody on the Dallas Cowboys he'd want to play with. How much you bet he changed that tune this week? He had nothing but praise for the Dallas Cowboys because they played well. David says Dan Quinn checked out at that Green Bay game because he had already hit the head coach job down and up. Yep, and that's what the everybody was saying. They wanted to embarrass Dan Quinn in his house. That's why Thomas didn't take a knee on that onside kick. I think they kind of got the vibe from Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn was smelling himself, as the old people used to say. Yep, Michelle, I said the same thing. Tired of the media calling them trash. This team was not motivated by Mike McCarthy. This was motivated by other and inner things. He had Dan panic by not going for the win, by not going for the 2 points. I'm telling you, Carl, I've never seen somebody hold that one up so quick. Why? Not me. Hey, settle down. We going for 2. We about to bury these boys. And we going to put it in the hands of Cooper Rush. Dan Quinn. Oh, no, they're not going to get lucky, MG. They're going to beat the Giants. We're going to talk about that in a moment. They're going to beat the Giants. Don't even worry about that. They're going to beat the Giants, for sure. Nisi says Zimmer has a young, hungry secondary that's not afraid to tackle or make business decisions. And I'll tell you this, they want to play. Yes, they young and hungry. And I'm going to talk about Mike Zimmer in just a moment. Jose said Jerry needs to invite you to the sideline and let you call the play. Well, I don't know if I would call the plays, but I tell you who I would. If you could let me have a earpiece with Dak Prescott in my ear, I'd definitely call them things. Yeah, Janie, Mike Zimmer wanted Parsons to look at himself as something more. He did, and he challenged him too. He challenged him. He did. He did. And I also think a part of his motivation was he didn't want people to say he played soft against Dan Quinn. Michael Parsons put his foot in his mouth. Oh, yeah, Dan, my buddy, we talk every week. We text, and he got my family tickets. What? Oh, that's your buddy. You're not going to play hard against him. That joker came out and got busy. That joker got busy. But I don't believe, like I said, Mike McCarthy didn't motivate this team. They're not motivated by Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy can't motivate. Mike McCarthy is not a motivator of men. Robert said, and by the way, the Green Bay game, DQ did something he didn't do all year. Yep. The secondary played man defense all year, but he decided to go zone for 41 play zone and still couldn't stop. And Stephon Gilmore said he had never seen that in his whole career. He said he had never seen a team change up what they do going into the playoffs. So they'd never seen it before. Nisi said he is who he thought he is. Yeah. Just played to his ability with good coaching, defense, and carries. Carl, that's all that he has to do. That's the Cooper Rush formula. See, when you got Dak in there, you're saying, okay, we can actually make some mistakes. And Dak, if it's not too bad, Dak can bring us back. See, with Cooper Rush, you say, we can't make no mistakes. That's actually how you should be playing with Dak Prescott. You should be playing the same way with Dak Prescott. Parsons even changed his sack celebration for this game. He was hungry. Yeah, he was. He was really, really hungry. Jay Recruiter, what's going on? Appreciate that $5 super chat. Cooper Rush is actually worse. He throws helicopters and is very limited. And they know it. They know he's very limited. And that's why I keep saying limitations breed creativity. Mike McCarthy says, okay, now I can only call a certain amount of plays. I have to close off this whole part of the playbook. So what I got to do with Cooper Rush, I need to play very conservative and let my defense go to work. And Mike Zimmer did his part. He did. Mike Zimmer did his part. Commanders fans didn't remember what the team, didn't remember what to them the first time they did that chant. Man, I'm telling you. They didn't know what happened. Jay Recruiter, dude, I know that you want the Cowboys to win out. Man, you know what? I got to change. I got to get my mind back right now, Daniel M. I don't know where I am. The Red Quarter says almost like when every time Dak is out, everybody comes to their senses. Yeah, because it's a stupid mentality. It's the mentality of when Dak is in, we can make some mistakes because we know what Dak is. Dak's going to make some plays. Dak's going to bring us back, whatever the case may be. But when Dak is out, they're like, oh, man, we can't make one mistake because if we do, the game is over. Cooper Rush is not going to be your comeback quarterback. Dan Quinn blew a 21-point, 21 Super Bowl lead. Yep. And that's what got him out of that's what kind of got him out of what's his name too. That's what got him out of what's his name too. So my question is, the Cowboys are going to make a playoff run. And on Overreaction Monday, I just tell you what my response is. On Overreaction Monday, my response is no. Commander secondary, not that good. I talked about that. Gave up 5 or 6. They kept the game plan simple, no turnovers. I talked about that already. So the Cowboys, to me, are not going to make a playoff run. They are not going to make a playoff run. I think they're going to tease us with the playoffs because we're going to get real antsy. We're going to get real antsy when we're going to get real antsy. Well, yeah, David, you said it is missing a field goal mistake. Yeah, it is, but their defense. They made mistakes and the defense still held. It was 10-9. The defense still held. So the Cowboys are going to make a playoff run. I say no. I say no, they are not. And so right here, I actually have the Cowboys' remaining schedule. And I'm going to tell you what is going to get us, and not me, because I'm going to just take it game by game. But I'm going to tell you the game that's going to get us very antsy. So we're going to beat the New York Giants. They will beat the New York Giants on Thursday, Thanksgiving. And they're going to beat the New York Giants, y'all, because if anybody has not paid attention, the New York Giants are in full-blown tank mode. They're in full-blown tank mode. And I'm going to tell you something about Brian Daboll. Don't let them jokers fool you. There's a reason why they fired Brian Daboll. They don't want no chances of them winning another football game. No chances. They smell this. They smell, y'all. And I'm telling y'all something. The New York Giants, mark my words, the New York Giants are about to make a 2-year turnaround that's going to blow people's mind. Because if the New York Giants, they're already at number 2. And I think the New York Giants are going to get the first quarterback in the draft. The Jacksonville Jaguars, if they stay where they are, very questionable. I could literally see them winning a game or two with Trevor Lawrence. I could see them winning a game or two, and they fall to maybe 4 or 5. But the New York Giants are going to get that number 1 spot. They're going to make sure they don't win another game. And they're going to do at least what I think they should do. If I'm the New York Giants and I get the number 1, I get the chance at the first quarterback. And I already know Deion Sanders said he doesn't want his son playing in cold weather. So they're going to fight everything they can for him not to play for the New York Giants. But I also know that based upon the Instagram post that I've heard that Shedeur Sanders keeps making, that every time the Raiders lose, he says something like, "Thank you, God." Why is he saying that? Well, Shedeur has a good relationship, great relationship with Tom Brady. Deion Sanders, Tom Brady, great relationship. They want Shedeur to play for the Raiders. So you know what the Giants are going to do? Hey, Raiders, I tell you what. We don't care if Deion don't want Shedeur to play for us or not. We got the number 1 draft pick, or the quarterback is right here for us to get. You know what they're going to do? They're going to get Shedeur Sanders, and they're going to make the Raiders trade to get him. They're going to make the Raiders trade to get Shedeur. Because if I'm the New York Giants, I don't care what Deion Sanders says. I don't care. And, of course, Deion's my favorite football player of all time. I don't care if Deion says that he doesn't want his son to play for us. I'm telling you this. If I get that pick, I'm going to get Shedeur Sanders, and I'm going to make the Raiders give me 3 number 1 draft picks for him. If the 49ers will give up 3 number 1s and a 3 for Trey Lance, you better believe you're going to give me 4 number 1s and a 3, or you're going to give me 3 number 3s and 2 2s. You going to give me your draft. You're going to pay dearly to get Shedeur Sanders. You are. And I think the Vegas Raiders, they want Shedeur. They want him. They want Shedeur Sanders bad. And I think that the Davis, the owner, not only does he want Shedeur, but if there's anything that could entice Deion, and I think it's going to take a lot. Deion said something in his press conference. He said, "I'm comfortable at Colorado." But he also said this: everything has a cost. He was just saying, you want me? It's going to cost you. Because if I'm the New York Giants, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be smart. I'm going to get those draft picks from the Las Vegas Raiders, and then I'm going to go in that draft and get Cam Ward. I'm going to go and get Cam Ward. That's what I'm going to get. And then I'm going to build my team over the next 2 seasons around Cam Ward. That's what I would do. And so I say all that to say, we don't have to worry about the New York Giants, y'all. The New York Giants are going to make the Dallas Cowboys. I promise y'all, the New York Giants are going to make the Dallas Cowboys look like world beaters. They are. Now, I'm going to tell you, there's a game that everybody is overlooking this team. I'm actually laughing that folk are talking about the Cowboys or just going to roll up. I mean, that the Cowboys are just going to run over the Bengals. I promise y'all, the Cowboys are not going to run over the Bengals. Anybody been watching Joe Burrow play? Now, some people have been saying that some of Joe Burrow's stuff is coming in garbage time. No, I've been watching Joe Burrow play. Some of that stuff is, and I don't like that whole thing of garbage time. Joe Burrow has been doing some of the same things that we watched Dak Prescott do. Team gets down by a lot of points. Dak Prescott says, I'm going to keep playing. And before you know it, Dak has the team back within a touchdown. Well, Joe Burrow has been doing the same thing. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase look like the 2023 Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. They lighting it up, y'all. They are lighting it up. I'm telling you, they lighting it up. Let me read the super chat from Mitch Roman. Appreciate you, Mitch. $5 super chat. We want Dallas. We want Dallas. Well, they got Dallas. Well, I used to always be told, Mitch, be careful what you ask for. Man, you better be careful what you ask for. You ask for the wrong thing, man. You get exactly what you want. It's a wrap. Nisi said the Giants rebuilt before and won 2 Super Bowls. They about to do it again. I believe they're about to do it again, Nisi. They're going to do it again. David, you said an upset on Thanksgiving would be crazy. You talking about the Giants beating the Cowboys? Because I think the Cowboys going to roll over the Giants. Man, let me tell you something. If the Cowboys beat the Commanders, and then the Giants, after firing Brian Daboll, letting go of Daniel Jones, bringing in Tommy DeVito, and beat the Cowboys, man, let me tell you something. They all better shut their social media off. They better all of them better shut that social media off. They gonna get talked about like dogs. Keedy says we better not sleep on the Panthers. Yes, because they run the ball and plus they have a decent defense. And you know what else? I think the Panthers have made a decision. The Panthers have made a decision that they're hungry. They want to win. Bryce Young is saying, I want to win, y'all. I've been getting beat up too bad. I want to win. But this game right here with the Bengals, I'm telling y'all, that 2022 season, Cooper Rush had a game-winning drive against the Bengals. I guarantee you all this is on their minds. They're also trying their best to still get back in the playoff race. So you better believe the Bengals going to come to play the Cowboys. The Bengals are going to come to play the Cowboys. That game, I'm not giving that an instant win. People are talking about they can win the next 3 games. Which ones? Both of these games, the Bengals and the Panthers, you better watch out. These are absolute trap games, both of them. They're going to come because both of these games are going to come off of 2 wins in a row. The Cowboys are going to beat the New York Giants. Book it. Book it. And I think they're going to beat them good, too. Book it. And everybody's going to be talking about again, ooh, we 5-7. Cowboys can win. And then they're going to run into not 1, not 2. Let me tell you something. The Buccaneers, this is another team. Let me tell y'all something. They've been getting beat by good teams. They're missing their weapons, so I think the Cowboys are going to be able to do some things against them on defense. But their defense is extremely good, too. And so I think you're going to see a very hard defensive fought game against the Buccaneers, and it's going to be close. And I think Cooper Rush is going to be running for his life. They're going to be running for his life because that defense, I mean, up until the fourth quarter against the Chiefs, man, they had the Chiefs reeling. I'm not mistaken. The Buccaneers and the Chiefs went to OT. And this game right here, the Cowboys and the Eagles, I'm tired of people. You know what? I'm a Dallas Cowboy diehard fan. But we're going to have to put some respect on Jalen Hurts' name. I know Jalen Hurts. I know a lot of people argue about him just like they do Dak. Okay, I know. I get it. Do we not understand that the Philadelphia Eagles are absolutely loaded? A lot of people don't realize, to me, they're the only team that I think can do something with the Detroit Lions. They're the only team. And if you told me I got to pick the Detroit Lions and Jared Goff or Jalen Hurts and the Eagles, and I know that both of these teams can run, both of these teams can kind of stop the run, they can do some things and neutralize each other to the point that it comes down to the quarterback. If you ask me, who do I want the ball, which quarterback do I want with the ball in their hand when nothing else is working? Y'all can tell me anything y'all want to. I'm taking Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts will literally destroy you. Jalen Hurts can run the ball. Jalen Hurts can run the ball. Jalen Hurts can run the ball. And every so often, just like last night, Jalen Hurts will make a throw, and you go back and look at it on the replay and go, how did he make that throw? How did he do it? I'm telling y'all, Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley are a dangerous combination. We're the only team that's dumb. We're the only team that says we're going to win, we're going to do more with less. And then people get brainwashed. It's the salary cap. You don't know what you're talking about. Cowboys have $24 million right now on the cap. They ain't done nothing with it. They ain't going to do nothing with it. They're going to have $100 million, contrary to what people understand. They're going to have $100 million on the cap next year. We're going to see what they're going to do, what they are going to do with that money under the cap. But no other team thinks like us. All these other teams, if you notice what they did with the quarterbacks they paid a lot of money to, they went out and got them not just regular running backs, they went and got them premier running backs. Premier running backs. Baltimore Ravens, Derrick Henry. Detroit Lions, two-headed monster. Kansas City Chiefs, Pacheco. Eagles, I'm telling y'all, after watching that game last night, if Saquon Barkley does not win the MVP of this league, it's a travesty. I got to see how the rest of the season turn out. But for right now, he has got to be the leader in the MVP. This man is literally the most valuable player on the Philadelphia Eagles team. And I'm laughing that people actually think we're going to roll up in Philadelphia and beat Philadelphia. I don't care how this defense is playing. You going to tell me you're going to stop Saquon Barkley twice? I'm not believing it. They didn't even stop Jalen Hurts the first time. But I'm definitely not going to believe you're going to stop Saquon Barkley twice. Saquon Barkley is a monster, y'all. He is. He is. And then it'll be the Washington Commanders and the Cowboys. Now, this becomes the crazy part. Yeah, Nisi said they will do the reverse Eli Manning trade. That's what I'm doing. It's exactly what I'm doing. Outside of Shedeur Sanders and maybe Cam Ward, this quarterback class is not that good in next year's draft. That's it. And that's why I say the Giants, only quarterback I think they get is Cam Ward. But I'll tell you this, because I have been seeing where people are saying that the quarterbacks are not this good. Well, I'll tell you this much. Y'all know who's going to be a free agent after this season? Y'all ready? Cooper Rush. All these people who talk about Cooper Rush. We are once again going to see what does this league think about Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush is going to be available for everybody who's saying, because a lot of us don't know what we're saying. If we're saying that he's better than Dak Prescott, then the discussion is no longer about Dak Prescott. Because if he's better than Dak Prescott, that means he's better than a lot of quarterbacks in the league. He has to be. There's no other way to get around it. He has to be better than not just Dak. He has to be better than a lot of quarterbacks in the league. And so if I'm the New York Giants, and if we're saying that the quarterback class isn't that good this year, and people keep saying how good Cooper Rush is, I go get Cooper Rush. Why not? Wait until the year after. See if you can parlay those draft picks. Trade all the way back. Get you 3 or 4 first-round draft picks. Trade all the way back. And then on the next season, you go up and you trade all the way up with those first-round draft picks. And then you get you the quarterback that you want. But Cooper Rush going to be out there, everybody. For everybody who keeps saying how good he is, he'll be out there. What's going on, Josh? No cap, what's going on? Telling the 49ers won't win, but one more game, we have a top 7 pick, and I hope they end up with the best pass rusher to pair with Bosa. Man, I'm hearing there's some good ones in the draft, too. But we're going to look at what you just talked about here in just a moment. What up, Chris? Doing pretty good. Appreciate you joining. Do you think they have a chance to win this next one? You talking about the Giants? Josh, they're winning it, bro. They're winning it going away. Andre says no playoffs. He says no playoffs. If they give the Cowboys will lose because they're going to win on Thanksgiving, y'all. So I want y'all to brace yourselves now. We'll be doing our pregame show on Wednesday. Y'all brace yourselves because if everything goes the way I think it is, I'm sorry, the Cowboys are going to maul the Giants. Andre, let me tell you something. If the Giants beat the Cowboys, they better turn off their social media. That's all I'm going to tell you. Jose Cueto says, now the Commanders know not to say, we won't Dallas anymore. Man, they were believing the hype about the Cowboys were in tank mode. Andre Bose, that's not going to happen. Yeah, I think they're going to win. Gabe said if the Raiders can do what the Texans did in the draft with C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson, they can trade up and get Ross Shador, get both Shador and Travis Hunter, both major needs for Vegas, getting Prime as the coach. Now, I don't think there's no chance they get Travis Hunter. No chance. After what I saw from Travis Hunter on Saturday, Travis Hunter is making me change my mind. While he is not Deion Sanders, someone asked Deion Sanders about Travis. Is he good? No. Y'all have to see Deion Sanders. There's no. He's not Deion, but he's himself. He's a special kid. I'm telling you, I wouldn't let him go by me in the draft, but I just wouldn't know what to do with him. I think maybe he could play receiver. He's that good. But he's that good at cornerback too. He is literally that good. Man, I don't know. But I can tell you this. I don't think there's any way that the Jacksonville Jaguars allow Travis Hunter to get past them if they're there at the number 1 spot. Now, if it's the New York Giants, that's going to be a tough decision. Do I get Travis Hunter or do I get Shador, trade back, get the draft picks, get Cam Ward, the Raiders get Shador, and then I see what you're saying. Is there someone who would let me trade to get back up and get Travis? But who in the world gonna let Travis go by? I know I'm not. I'm just not letting him by if the quarterbacks are gone. I'm not. Whoever's saying the Cowboys will beat the Bengals needs to stop trying their own bad. There's a lot of people think, man, I'm telling you, that game with the Bengals is gonna be great. Because Joe and Chase are playing like the 2023 Dak and CeeDee Lamb. And the Buccaneers are extremely good, Kevin. What's going on? Extremely good. Nisi said McCarthy needs to keep the same play style until it doesn't work. Mike can't revert back to Mr. Softy, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. That's Mike McCarthy. Josh says it would be crazy if Dallas Cowboys won against New York. It's not going to be crazy, Josh. They're going to beat the brakes off of the Giants. And it's going to put this fan base in a frenzy because now they're going to be talking about what could have been. Chris says, I want Mike Zimmer to keep challenging Micah to be a leader. Yes, me too. So he can get Dan Quinn out of his ear. Well, yeah, Josh said, that's right, Kevin. But we will see. Lord Nova says, I'll take Detroit. Oh, you'll take Detroit? You know what? Now, notice how I prefaced it, Lord. With as good as both those teams are, and if it's going to come down to the quarterback making the difference, I think Jalen can make more of a difference with his feet and arm than Jared Goff can give me with his arm. That's where I am. I just think, man, I think people aren't giving Jalen Hurts enough credit. I truly think Jalen Hurts is a game changer. He is. Goff is a better quarterback and Hurts, and Jalen is a better running. And that's why I would take Jalen. I would take Jalen every single time because he's a better runner of the football. And the drop-off from Goff to Jalen throwing is not drop off a cliff. So I'm taking Jalen. And Jalen to mess you up, no cap. I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about. But Jalen to mess you up. Jalen will make some throws that'll make you go, wow. How did he do it? Nisi said, me too, Lord. It's their time. Yeah, I think it is too. But, hey, I'm gonna tell y'all, beware. Beware. I'm just telling you, man, the Eagles are getting better and better. They are. Gabe said Jared is an accident waiting to happen. I'll take Jalen Hurts too. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. And if it comes down to that, and it just might well come down to that, hey, man, Jalen Hurts is a game wrecker. He is. Miss Matrix, what's going on? The cap is being saved for Micah. Yep. They've already said that. And I wonder, is it going to be a hard-fought negotiation? Because I'm telling you, unless Micah Parsons get 20 sacks, nah, I'm not doing that defensive end pay. Andre says 2-4, and the record would be 6-11 or 7-10. MG says beat Philly. Now, a lot of people are saying that Philly might get down here towards the end and might not need to win that game, so they may be resting folk. I have a hard time believing that. I'm not resting. Why am I going to rest in week 17? And I still got week 18. Week 18 might be, if I don't get the number one, if I get the number two, and I want to take week 18 as the bye week and play in the first quarter, and then I get ready for the first round of the playoffs. But I'm not ruling the Eagles out of the number one spot yet. I'm not ruling them out. If Parsons does stop Barkley, his price goes up. Oh yeah, no doubt. Saquon ain't no monster. It's the good old line against really bad. Nah, I'm not. You know what? To each his own. I'm just saying from what I see with Saquon. It's one thing, because we can say the same thing about Emmitt Smith. But it's one thing when you have a good old line. That ain't the part I'm talking about. The part I'm talking about is when Saquon Barkley put that foot in the ground, it's over. You're not catching Saquon Barkley. It's over. And he got a stiff arm. It's not Derrick Henry stiff arm, and he got a stiff arm. And he'll put a couple of moves on you. Man, I'm telling you. Saquon Barkley, he has the most explosive runs in the NFL right now. I think right now it's up to what, 25 or 26 and counting? Nobody has more explosive runs. Nobody. I'm not discounting the fact that, like I said, you can have a good offensive line all day long. Dallas Cowboys had one. I mean, Emmitt. There was a lot of times, man, Emmitt was at the second level before anybody even got a hand on him. But what made Emmitt Smith so dangerous, while I don't think he was a better pure runner per se than especially like Barry Sanders, Barry Sanders almost didn't need blocking. But Emmett was deceptively fast in a sense because Emmett could get in front of folk and they wouldn't catch him. They wouldn't catch him. Or they couldn't bring him down before he got to the end zone. But, man, Saquon, whoo, man. Boy, he changed his life for a team. The Joneses wants Dak to drive the bus, be the mechanic, and watch it. That's it. But notice what they do, Nisi, with Cooper Rush. Just drive the bus. Just drive the bus. That's all they want him to do. D-Rail said the Giants already had Rush, and they even released him. Wait a minute. The Giants had Cooper Rush? What the? Okay, I got to go back and look at that. Man, that's a good fact, D-Rail. Hold on a second. No, wait a minute. Man. Boy, you just told me something new. Yeah, you just told me something. You said Cooper Rush. Are you saying he played for the Giants? Wow. Wait a minute. I'm seeing something right here. What? Okay, I'm about to look that up. I didn't realize. Let me see something. It says on May the 5th, 2020, Rush was claimed off waivers by the New York Giants, reuniting with offensive coordinator Jason Garrett, who was the head coach of the Cowboys. Okay, so wait a minute. So Jason Garrett, I forgot about that. So Jason Garrett coached for the New York Giants, if I'm not mistaken, right? Wow, you just gave me some. You just wait a minute. Let me see here. Man, you done got me with this one, because see, this is stuff I don't remember. So he was the coach. Okay, I was just trying to see here. Man, you got man, I'm about to go back. Okay, wait. Okay. He was the offensive coordinator under head coach Joe Judge. Okay, I see. Okay, I see now. So he was the OC. Okay, he was the OC. And then he went and so what he did was, as the OC, he went and got Cooper Rush. Rush was claimed off waivers by the New York Giants. Offense coordinator Jason Garrett, who was okay, and on September 5th, 2020, Rush was waived and signed to the practice squad the next day. On September 29, 2020, he was released from the practice squad to make room for another Cowboys quarterback, Clayton Thorson. On October, Rush was signed to the Cowboys. Wow. Wow. Okay. All right. I'm going to have to go back and look at this. See, this stuff right here slipped my mind. I didn't realize Rush was out, that he'd already been out there on the market and been picked up by a team before, and then wound back up with the Cowboys. And, that goes to show you about the Cowboys, too, because one of the things we do, we definitely don't mind doing retreads, and we are dirt cheap. Wow. Boy, I forgot about this, Keith Rivera. Cooper Rush was. That just goes to show you everything you need to know again. What team has ever wanted Cooper Rush to be the starter like that? And then we're sitting up here talking about he's better than. I can't even. This is so funny to me. It's so funny to me. Man, I forgot about this. You said Jason Garrett loves those red-headed players. Garrett was the OC. I forgot about that. It just didn't last long enough for it to be anything. Man, yeah. I forgot about this. Cooper Rush played for the Giants a couple of years ago. Why they, as good as everybody say he is, why they cut him? I mean, why they cut him if he's that good? I mean, people keep talking this crazy stuff about Cooper Rush, man. I'll never understand it. But you know what? Cooper Rush did what he's supposed to do. Cooper Rush is a backup quarterback, and a backup quarterback, what you want him to do is hold down the team in case the starter get hurt. Cooper Rush does his job, nothing more, nothing less. And so I'll use that as some of my ammunition again. But I just think for the Cowboys to win out 10-7 is going to be pretty tough. And so I got another question for y'all on Overreaction Monday. Should the Cowboys forget about Lance? Do we still want to see Trey Lance? Y'all tell me what you think. Because I'll tell you what I think. After the Cowboys lose their next game, whenever that is, but they're going to lose a game. And I think it's either going to be against the Bengals. I think it's going to either be the Bengals, the Bucks, or the Panthers. I just don't think, as much as everybody's talking about those games are winnable, I'm sorry, I just don't think those games are going to be easy for the Cowboys. They're not going to be easy. And I think they're going to lose either one or two of those games for sure, and maybe even all three. But y'all tell me what y'all think. I'm just telling you what I think. I think the next game the Cowboys lose, Trey Lance needs to be the quarterback. And if Jerry Jones knows what's good for him, I would actually tell Mike McCarthy, after the Thanksgiving game, Trey Lance is going to be quarterback. Because where I got to where I got to fix my mind is, does it do us good to win games if we know we're not making the playoffs? And let's just say, okay, we got 4 games now. So is a 6-11 season to prove that we have fight in us? Even though we lose, we're 6-11. Is that worth throwing away a top 10 draft pick? Knowing that if you win 6 games, it probably throws you at around 15, 16, 17, or 18. Is it worth that? And for me, I just think the Cowboys need a top 10 draft pick as a skilled player. Yeah, he was signed as an undrafted free agent on 2017 draft. Daniel says, I'm convinced the Cowboys are going to make the playoffs like what the Eagles did with Foles. I don't, no way, no how, but anything is, I guess it's possible. Jerry was mad yesterday when the Cowboys lost while holding the play sheet in hand, calling plays from his suite. I think he was mad about that draft pick. And that's why I'm asking. I mean, for me, I want to see Trey Lance. I still want to see Trey Lance. I mean, Cooper Rush, I mean, we know what he is. I mean, we just know what he is. I would like to see that if Mike McCarthy is the true guru, bring in Trey Lance. That's what the Giants did. I mean, and we know why the Giants are doing it, because the Giants are doing it too because they want to make sure they lose, but they're going to let Tommy DeVito do his thing. At some point, I want the Cowboys to let Trey Lance do his thing. And I also think that what they need to do going forward is I think Trey Lance needs to be their red zone quarterback. I think Trey Lance needs to be the red zone quarterback. Stop bringing him in for those stupid quarterback sweeps. It's dumb. Everybody knows what you're doing, and they're going to stop it. They're going to stack up the box. Unless you're going to fake that sometimes, Stop it. It's stupid. It's an insult to the man's intelligence and who he is. I would let him be the goal line running back. I mean, I would let him be the red zone quarterback. Zim's defense is what won the Washington. So I said it, Revelation. What's going on? I give them 60% of the credit. I mean, they kept the game extremely close no matter what was happening. Does Zeke get a 1-yard rushing TD so he can jump in the Salvation Army kettle one last time? You know what? I think the way they're going to beat the Giants, unless the Giants defense rises to the occasion and say, you might beat us, but it won't be because of us. I just think the Cowboys are going to have a field day on the Giants. I think they are literally ripping the soul out of that team in a sense. But we'll see how it all turns out. But I think they're ripping the soul out of the team. But I'll be honest with y'all. I mean, for me, I still want to see Trey Lance. I just know what we have with Cooper Rush, and I know people got these dreams of, woo, man, we're gonna make a playoff run. Okay, so my thing is, so please, next game we lose, can we let Trey Lance start the remainder of the season? Y'all tell me what y'all think. But I think we should let Trey Lance start the remainder of the season. That's where I am with this situation. The Cowboys should not forget about Lance. Nope. I want to see Lance play, especially if we lose another game. I'll tell you what else is dumb, G. Putting Lance in for one play. Exactly. It's ridiculous. Let him be your red zone quarterback because you're struggling in the red zone. Let him do it. Gabe says Trey should have a package similar to how Mike Tomlin uses Justin Fields in Pittsburgh. And did you notice what they did with him? Red zone. They're struggling in the red zone. They figured, why not take a couple of chances? And not even just the red zone. They gave him a couple of drives. I would. But I tell you this, we lose another game, I want to see Trey Lance. Nisi says, no, we shouldn't try to win out, but the young guys are motivated and hungry and deserve to go for it. That's me talking out of both sides of my mouth. And so that's why for me, hey, let the young guys play. Let them play with Trey Lance, though. Let them play with Trey Lance. That's where I am. They should at least give Lance a shot. I want to see Lance get a whole game. And that's why I say the next game they lose, I say let Trey Lance start after that. And I wouldn't be surprised. Don't be surprised if Jerry makes an executive decision after this Thanksgiving game. Jerry might make an executive decision and tell Mike, hey, man, you already went in there and won one game. You win another one, we're going to fire you. Trey Lance starts after this game right here. No Cap says 49ers got Bills, Bears, Rams, Lions, Cardinals. You're gonna probably not beat the Bills, probably beat the Bears. Rams always seems to have y'all number. Lions got everybody number. Y'all will probably beat the Cardinals. So, yep. Don't look like y'all gonna make that run this year. Nope, I don't see them winning in that many injuries. Nah, I don't either. And so let's say they lose out and end up with a top 5 pick, either Ward or Sanders falls on their lap. What do? I don't think they'll be in that top 5, boy. That you literally are going to have to, if you got more than 4 wins, you will not be in that top 5. They're already disqualified because they're going to win at least 2 of those games. They'll win at least 2 of those games. So they're going to be probably just like the Cowboys. They're going to be drafting no cap, I guarantee you, in that mid, probably 14 to 18. Yeah, they're going to win a couple of them games. Keedy Boy says, I want to see Trey Lance play myself. That would guarantee us a top 5 pick. I want to see him play. I do. And if he win, he win. Trey as a red zone quarterback would be nice. I think they should have been doing that all along. I think even with Dak Prescott, they should have had a Trey Lance package. This isn't about Cooper Rush. I think they should have had a Trey Lance package even with Dak because I'm not letting you get $5 million of my money holding the clipboard, getting paid more than the backup quarterback. Keith Rivera says Trey Lance is playing as long as Jerry Jones keeps calling the plays from his suite. Well, I'm going to tell you what I think happened with Jerry. I think Jerry thought that maybe if they played Trey, it would give them a chance to win. But then there's another thing with him, number 2. It seems like to me that they are gearing up for Trey Lance to be the backup quarterback. I don't want Trey Lance to be the backup quarterback for the Cowboys. Not because I think he's a threat for Dak Prescott, but I think he's talented enough that if a team would give him an opportunity, I want a team to bring him in and say, hey, man, we're going to give you a couple of years, build a team around you. We'll get you in cheap. I mean, just imagine Just imagine what the Giants could do. If they even said, you know what, we're not even going to go with Cam Ward. We're going to trade our first round draft pick to the Raiders and get 2 number ones. Then we'll say, who wants the Raiders spot? And then we'll get some more number ones. And then in our later rounds, second, third, because they'll still be drafting high, I would get me some skill players. I go in and get me a wide receiver. Some of those top wide receivers, I promise you, they'll still be there at the top of the second. The top running backs, I know those running backs are going to be there at the top of the second. I'll get them. I would get me some skill positions. Then I would go and see if I could make some trades. Maybe I can build up pretty quickly through some trades. Maybe I can give away a couple of those first rounders. And, hey, Trey, we're going to give you a shot. And then next season, we're going to go get some more players with the drafts that with the picks that we've got. And I would see what we have. And if we don't win with 2 years of Trey Lance, guess what? We got good players around him. We can draft us a quarterback, and then he'll be our quarterback. And we can let Trey Lance go. No harm, no foul. But I want to see Trey Lance get an opportunity, and not with the Cowboys being a doggone backup. I don't want Trey Lance, if possible. I don't want Trey Lance to be a career backup just like Cooper Rush. I'm with that. Put Lance in for a quarter or a half and let him run the offense. I want to see what he can do. Trey as a red zone quarterback. I mean, yeah, that's what I'm hollering. I hope they do it. If we see Trey Lance in the red zone, like you say, the Mike McCarthy is pulling a Lovie Smith. Forget you, Jerry. I'm not. You know what? It'd be the best way for him to get back at Jerry. Win. But do it your way. Do it your way. Don't let Jerry tell you what to do. What are you going to do? Come down on the sideline? Make him fire you. Jerry don't want film on Trey yet. Yep, I'm telling you, LaQueen, I think he wants Trey Lance to be the backup quarterback. In order to get to the NFL, players are not losers on purpose. They always play to win the game. I'm going to talk about that in a moment. Chris says, I do too, and I want to see Deuce. Would love to see Deuce Vaughn get a chance. Yes, give Trey Lance some much-needed playing time. I imagine if he would have started yesterday, Dallas would have had a lot of rushing yards against Dan Quinn and opened the game up early in the fourth quarter. I would have loved to see him play yesterday too. Lance was not bad before he got hurt for the 49ers. A lot of people are saying that. And there's a lot of people saying that he was actually really good coming off that injury, but by that time, they just wanted to go ahead and go with Purdy. No cap, you tell me, you in here, you tell me what you heard about that over in y'all end. But I heard the 49ers just kind of, he was actually doing pretty good. Kevin Howard says we need to see what we have in Trey so we can use him in a draft. Well, the problem is, Kevin, now he's going to be an unrestricted free agent. There's nothing the Cowboys can do. So what happened to Dalvin Cook? Haven't seen him since they brought in Zeke. Zeke. Jerry Jones' pet project. There's no doubt in my mind Dalvin is better than Zeke. No doubt. What's going on, Angie? So let's go to my next overreaction as it applies to the Dallas Cowboys. My next overreaction. The Cowboys should bench Guyton. The Cowboys should bench Guyton. What do y'all think? What do y'all think about Guyton? Angie said that Trey Lance package is trash. They got to do better. What do y'all think about Guyton? Should they bench Guyton? Overreaction Monday. Guyton was definitely struggling in whatever weird rotation they had him in yesterday. He was definitely struggling. And the few penalties they committed, I think he was a part of them. So, what do you think on that? I'll tell you what I think after I read a couple of these comments. Trey couldn't look good on the Niners with an all-star team. He's just not good. Man, I seen him many times in practice. He was horrible. Okay. And you know what? No cap. I think some of the other teams, because they also get access to a lot of tape. And so I guess it was the same thing for them, but I would still like to see him get a chance. No cap says, I went to see him. I was so excited. I felt like, OMG, we traded 3 picks for a dud. I knew it in preseason. He was missing the easy throws. Yeah. He's got a real strong arm. But don't quite have a touch. Jose said, I missed the old Zeke. It's been a while since we witnessed his touch celebration. Boy, man, that old Zeke was something to be studied, man. B Unit, who's guiding? LMAO. Zeke isn't doing anything. Put Dalvin in that spot. Yep, if it weren't for Jerry, they would. Well, Richards did play better, so no, let Guyton play. He's going to be good. So, in response to what you said, Jay Recruiter, let me give you my answer. And my answer in this Overreaction Monday is a resounding no. I think Guyton is out of position. I've heard these explanations about why he played left tackle or why he played right tackle, and they're saying left tackle is his position. I don't think he should be playing left tackle. I think he needs to move to right tackle. He needs to move to the right side of the line. They got him in the wrong position, and that's what's wrong with him. Gabe says bench guy and he's not ready. However, once Dallas is mathematically eliminated, then put him back in because he needs the reps. And I say you just put him on the other side of the line. Just put him on the right side. I mean, because, hey, man, Terrence Steele up out of here. They're cutting Terrence Steele. I don't care what they paid him. They're cutting him. Yes, Kevin Howard, put him on the right side. Talking about Guyton, I would too. I'm putting him on the right side. I think he plays better on the right side of the line. Nisi says keep right Guyton, but switch him to the right for the remainder of the season. I'm the same way. Don't put this kid on the bench. It's the worst thing you can do. Move him to the right. Yes. Keith said the same thing. Move him to the right tackle and have Awesome Richards at left. Yes. Man, we may have a diamond in the rough with Awesome Richards. I mean, this kid, man, he, for no pun intended and intended, he's awesome. He's absolutely awesome. Move Guyton to the right side. I'm telling y'all, the Cowboys made some mistakes at the trade deadline. And one of the mistakes I think the Cowboys made at the trade deadline, I would have sat down Zach Martin, and I would have had a good talk with Zach Martin. And I would have asked him, out of respect for him as a veteran, I would have asked Zach Martin, can we seek a trade for you on a contender? I gave him that. I mean, I just got that much respect for him. I mean, it might not have been in the NFC or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to try to see him in the NFC. Maybe I would have traded him to the Houston Texans. Let him finish out a couple of years there with what they're building over there. See if maybe Kansas City want him. Heck, see if the Bengals want him. I mean, the Bengals, y'all, I'm telling y'all, the Bengals are an O-line away. And I'm sorry, if there's one team that needs to go in the draft and do nothing but O-line, it's the Bengals. They got the skill players. Running back, O-line. For once and for all, get Joe Burrow some protection. I don't care if you got to go in the draft and free agency. Get this man a line. I would approach the Bengals and, hey, you guys want, Zach, he going to do a couple of more years. You guys want him? I would have asked them if they wanted him. I would have asked Zach out of respect. I like, hey, man, can we seek a trade for you for a contender? Because Guyton needs to be on that right side. He does. Guyton needs to be on that right side. He does. Angie said they got Dalvin boxed up like a Barbie doll. No doubt. I don't even understand it. Yeah, Nisi does know her football. I'm telling you. She does. Angie, the rebel chick, that would be too much like right. Yep, it would be. It'd be too much like right. Angie, well, the Ken doll is out there at wide receiver. Man, that supermodel, I'm telling you, Angie. Every time I see CeeDee Lamb, I can't do nothing but think about when you said he a supermodel out there playing wide receiver. Freddie Morales and McCarthy cuss guy not fired. Yeah, I think what they need to do is go ahead. Because, see, it's not so much that I want the Cowboys to lose. But what I want them to do is go ahead and start constructing some of the things we know they're going to do next year. I think we got the line already. I think we already have the line. And if we don't, then let's see where we are. So if we need to go get one of those Michigan, if we need to go out in the draft and get another old lineman, or maybe we go in free agency and get one. If we need to do that, we'll know. But I think this line right now, if we will let, and if they can find a way to let Zach Martin sit the whole season, or maybe you put him in some kind of rotation. But the line that you know you want to have next year that you already have on the team, I would be letting them play as much as possible. Well, B-Unit, it ain't gonna matter. We are not getting rid of Dak. That's not even a discussion. I'd move him to right tackle. I would. B-Unit said he said we need Quincy Carter back. Stop it. Appreciate you, Wicked. Hit that like button, subscribe, y'all. Hit that like button, hit that bell for sure. For sure. Appreciate you, Wicked. Robert Ebb says Dallas has been spoiled by recent success on the old line, but sometimes it takes longer than others. Yes. And I think this is what Mike McCarthy was hinting at. You got to develop players. And so I think you really got to see what you can do in free agency and see what you can do in the draft. But I think the Cowboys right now, the Cowboys are on to something with this O-line. You got to find a way to let them keep playing. I know, and the winning is cool. It's cool if you want, if you keep winning with what you're doing, okay, keep winning. But you need to go ahead. If you see something working, it is insanity to know that you got something that's working and you're going to go away from it? Nah. Gabe said, gee, what Dallas Cowboys wide receiver gets cut when they bring Brandon Cooks back? I say Ryan Flanoy because he offers no value on special teams. Oh, no, I'm keeping Ryan Flanoy. I'm keeping Flanoy. I think he's one of the wide receivers of the future. Big body wide receiver. I mean, you keep him, Jonathan Mingo, Tolbert. I'm cutting him next year. I'm going in the draft. I'm getting me a wide receiver too. You got CeeDee Lamb. You get one of these. Hold on a second. I think the Cowboys, y'all, if they will play their cards right, I think the Cowboys have an opportunity to get one of these. I think the Cowboys have a great opportunity. And this is why I say I still think Jerry was a little upset. But I'm going to tell you something. When you look at this draft as it pertains to wide receivers, the Cowboys will be absolutely foolish if they don't go in here and get one of these kids. Now, I would prefer the McMillan kid. Next, I would pick the Ohio State kid. But a lot of people, keeping my ear to the ground, for some reason, a lot of people, I think this kid from Missouri, a lot of people like him. Now, I don't like the speed as much, but it is 4'6". He's a little light. But I'm telling y'all, there are some wide receivers in this draft. There are some serious wide receivers in this draft. And I like the bigger wide receivers. I would be going for this kid from Stanford, 210, 6'2", 4'4", 240. There is no way by the time the Cowboys even I would be shocked if all 12 of these wide receivers are gone by the top of the second round. This is why I want the Cowboys to stay in that top 10. You got to get one of these guys. Look at this guy, Jaden Higgins. 6'4", 4'5". Nah, that's me right there. If I'm a GM, I'm looking Dak Prescott. I think one of the things, they've done two things wrong with Dak Prescott. Two things wrong. Dak Prescott needs a running game, just like 99% of all the quarterbacks. But I also think, and I guarantee you, if you ask any quarterback, what would you prefer? A wide receiver the size of Jonathan Mingo or a wide receiver the size of Brandon Cooks? I bet you all day long they're going to pick Jonathan Mingo. bigger bodied receiver, can go up and get the ball, wide catch radius. Wide catch radius. You want those type of receivers. I'm telling you, anybody watch A.J. Brown last night? Man, when you got big bodied receivers, man, they're hard for these smaller cornerbacks to deal with. They really are. They are hard for these smaller cornerbacks to deal with. And so if I'm the Cowboys, I mean, they got a great opportunity to get one of these receivers. And so I'm keeping Flanoy. But I think Tolbert's going to get cut. Jalen Brooks definitely got to go for me. I'm keeping Flanoy. I'm keeping Mingo. I'm keeping CD. I'm going in the draft, and I'm going to get one of these wide receivers in the top 12 in the draft. That's what I'm going to do. Nisi says, for that to work for Zach, he would need a real GM to make that deal. Yep. But that's what I would have did, Nisi. I would have went to him and just out of respect. Hey, man, we're just not doing good, and we don't want you to, you're not looking as good as you used to, and, you I don't know, or you want to retire after this season? Because if you're not, how about we just go ahead and trade you to a contender now? You can rest up, get your body right a few weeks, then you can go on a playoff run with them. I mean, that's what I would do. No Cap said Bengals with the Eagles O-line, Burrow will be unstoppable. Woo! No Cap. Boy, hey, no cap. Yeah, Burrow would be nasty, man. Woo, he'd be nasty. Chris says, I feel like Deuce would bring a lot of fire to the Cowboys offense. Chris, I've already said it. You mark my words. Hunter Lipke, Deuce Vaughn, and I will not be surprised, Jake Ferguson. Those three names alone. And if we mess around and let go of a wide receiver like Flanoy, those four names right there, in 2 years, you're going to hear both of those. In 2 years, you're going to hear all four of those names. Because all four of them are good. We just don't use them right. I bet you Ben Johnson. Could y'all imagine Ben Johnson from the Detroit Lions with Hunter Lipke? Just imagine what he would do with Hunter Lipke, Deuce Vaughn, even Jake Ferguson. Y'all might not realize it, but we have a very, very vanilla offense. Very, very little. B Unit says our small short yardage offense tends to Dak's capabilities trash. Our defenses can easily read our offense. Yeah, I mean that. I'm saying, we have a very vanilla offense. We do. And I think, when you have the kind of players that we have, see, this is what GMs do. See, we don't have to worry about, y'all, what Dak is not. We don't have to worry about what Dak is not. We need to know what he is. We need to know what he is. And when we know what he is, if we go by what his scouting report was out of college, play action quarterback. So if he's a play action quarterback, what do I need, y'all? I got to get him a top tier running game. You want to know why he killed the league as a rookie? Top tier, Travis Frederick, Zach Martin, Zeke Elliott, Tyron Smith, end of story. Dak and Zeke. I'm telling you, Big Ben Roethlisberger, after he played Dak and Zeke, he said, man, that's the best quarterback and running back duo in the league. They tore it up. Dak, if you look at his history, Colin Cowherd, who hates Dak Prescott, Colin Cowherd said, Dak Prescott with a running game is Patrick Mahomes. He's literally unbeatable. Colin Cowherd said it. He hates Dak. Colin Cowherd said it. Yep. He said Dak Prescott with a running game is Patrick Mahomes. He is. He is. Because that's his strength. Because, hold on a second. And so one of the things that the Cowboys make mistakes on is the Cowboys will get players and they will take them out of their element. And they start trying to make players into something that they're not. You don't take a play action quarterback and try to make him into a drop back 45-time quarterback. That's dumb. If I'm the coach, Dak Prescott is only throwing the ball 25, no more than 30. No more than 30. Because if you look back at Troy Aikman's career, a lot of people don't understand why did Tony Romo and then Dak Prescott start shattering the records of one Troy Aikman. Go back and look at Troy Aikman's history. He was a play-action quarterback. He had an elite running game, and Troy rarely threw the ball 300. He rarely threw for 300 yards. He rarely threw for 300 yards. Troy wasn't dropping back throwing the ball 35, 45, 50. Troy, that was so rare. And if they were doing that, they're getting beat. They're getting beat. They didn't do that with they didn't do that with Troy Aikman. And people don't understand that. They didn't do that. You understand what your quarterback is, and then you put around him what he is. That's what they've done for Jared Goff. That's what they've done for him. Carl says Brandon Cook will be the one to go. They should have traded Brandon Cooks. Cooks, his contract is up at the end of the season. They should have traded him at the trade deadline. The Cowboys, you know what a lot of people don't understand? They keep talking about Dak's contract. It's not Dak's contract that's the problem. It's the problem that we have GMs that don't know how to do the cap. And they're doing dumb things under the cap. The Cowboys should have shook Zach Martin at the trade deadline. They should have shook Brandon Cooks at the trade deadline. DeMarcus Lawrence, they should have traded DeMarcus Lawrence at the trade deadline. They should have. DeMarcus Lawrence ain't coming back doing nothing for this team. He's already said he's not going out like Willie Foo-Foo. He plans to play after the Dallas Cowboys, and he's not coming back until his body is right. So you know what he just told us? He ain't coming back on this team until he is fully healthy. And if we're not making a playoff run, I'll be shocked if we see D-Law hardly any. No, they should have traded these players. Zeke, cut or trade. Zeke should have been cut or traded. There's nothing Zeke can do for you. They should have traded these players. They missed golden opportunities. Golden opportunities. The last thing we need for Jerry is to be all in again. My God, that was the biggest fraud ever. I'm surprised Jerry can still show his face. Well, he knew what he meant. The problem is what we think all in is we like, well, he about to go all in. And no, Jerry was like, no, I'm all in on the players I have. Whether they win or lose. And we're watching that come to fruition. Carl says, I think they will get a running back and a wide receiver. That's what I want them to get. They need to get those at the top of those 2 rounds. Bond, wide receiver from Texas, is great too. Oh, man. They're going to have the opportunity. They are literally going to have a great – the Cowboys are right now. See, this is why I'm telling y'all, I believe this team is – Bill Belichick is salivating over this team. The Cowboys are not doing a rebuild in the traditional sense of a rebuild. Typically, when teams rebuild, like the Raiders, they're going to do they got to do a total rebuild. They got to do quarterback on up. The Giants, total rebuild. They got to do quarterback on up. When you think about teams when they do rebuilds, they typically start, and those are the worst kinds of rebuilds. The Cowboys got the quarterback, check. They got the wide receiver, check. They got some pieces for whatever it's worth. You got Jonathan Mingo. It is what he is. He here now. Check. You got these pieces. Rico Dowdle even. He's not the one, but Rico Dowdle going to be your number 2 running back. I think Rico is going to be your number 2. Now, I'll be honest with you. I'm just crazy like this because I'm looking at what the Philadelphia Eagles are doing. I'm just being 100% honest. I'm going to get me 2 running. I'm looking at what Detroit doing. I'm actually going to get me 2 running backs in the draft. I'm getting 2. And both of them going to be big and burners. They're going to be big, fast, powerful. I'm getting 2. I'll get me 1 in the first or the second. And then I'll get me another one in the third. Well, probably not the third. I'll get me another one in the 5th. I'll get me another running back in the 5th. Or I'll trade some of those 10 picks. I'll move back into the 4th. I'll get me another running back. I'm going to have me 2. 1 is my starter. 1 is my third. He going to challenge Rico Dowdle. He beat Rico Dowdle. I got me 2 fresh new running backs. That's just what I'm doing. But you got to start playing to the strengths of your quarterback. It's stupid. If them wide receivers aren't packing, boy, man, Jerry Jones needs to stay out of the locker room, bro. No cap, Higgins is okay with better hands. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, the Cowboys got a great opportunity. They do. Gabe says, I hear you, G, about Flanoy. He's got good awareness, but the Cowboys don't use him. They don't develop players good. And that's one of their main problems. I hope they keep him. They don't do it good. Mingo type wide receiver. Yeah. You know what? I want to see what Mingo is. I hope they get Mingo going in the next game. Jeez Louise. I mean, man, we underutilize players on such a level. It's insanity. No cap agreed, but Dallas isn't paying big money for wide receivers looking for a second contract. Yeah, that's why I say they're going to have to do it in the draft. Big as Mingo is, if a lineman goes down, he can be back. Man, it's a big dude. And I think that's the kind of receiver that Dak has been wanting. Man, I bet you right now, Dak, I bet y'all right now, how long have we had Mingo now? What, 3 weeks? I bet you it would have been this game right here. No, I bet you the Eagles game and the Commanders game, Dak Prescott would have had Mingo eating. I guarantee you, Dak would have had Mingo eating already. Already, because he's a big body receiver. He's a big body receiver. Juan Jennings, haven't seen him. I'll be looking at the draft as we go further. Yep, Brooks, worst of the bunch. Nope, wouldn't want him. I want to see Trey Lance play. I haven't seen much gameplay out of him. Man, I want to see him bad, Kenny. I hope after we lose the next game, they go ahead and let him play. Offense plays look like kindergarten. It just said offensive plays like kindergarten word search. They do. They really do. And you think about even yesterday, Mike got a little bit more creative. But he was doing, Cooper make a good throw, sell him back down with the run. Cooper make a good throw, run the ball. They picked and choose. They picked and chose when they took their chances. Hey, man, Spanford. Hey, Ferguson, watch out. The Cowboys drafted Schoonmaker, number 2. They love their draft picks. You know what? I would think about trading. I would think about trading Ferguson. Ferguson hasn't panned out. I mean, the kid from the kid, what's his name? Spanford, 6'7". I'd be thinking hard on that. I really would be thinking hard on that. So I'll read some more comments in a moment. Let me get to the rest of my list. I kind of figured you guys would think that about Guyton, because I think Guyton is going to be good for the Cowboys. I just think they're going to have to be a little bit more patient. Those linemen, they take a lot more time sometimes to develop. Next question. Is Micah Parsons the new LT? Do we think he's the new LT? I'm going to tell you something about Micah Parsons. I'm not going to knock him. Micah Parsons can absolutely Micah Parsons can be an absolute monster in this NFL. But until they put him back at linebacker, he had a good game yesterday. But until you put him in his right position, the only thing that's going to keep happening to Micah Parsons, he's going to run into teams, and they know how to stop him. He's undersized. I don't understand what was going on with the Commanders yesterday. But if you not noticed, most teams have been able to pretty much handle up on Micah Parsons. I'm telling y'all, I'm not sold on this Micah Parsons thing. And I got a resounding no. Y'all tell me what you think. I'm not sold on the Micah Parsons thing from yesterday. Yeah, I know about that, no cap. It was amazing how he was singing Trey Lance's praises until Trey Lance got with his daughter. Yeah, he was singing them praises. Now, I think it was, matter of fact, after Trey Lance, the footage came out about him being in the strip club. Yeah, Mingo built like Dez Bryant. Yes, sir. I want to see what he can do. That's why Chip Kelly ruined Kaepernick, tried to make him a pocket passer. Yep, that part too. Golston plays well. We keep him. Yeah. We need a head coach that will allow the players to play to their strengths and some cross-training. Yep, for sure. I think Mingo is going to be good. He had a diving catch. Yep. He'd be already eating, Jay Recruiter. I'm telling you, he'd already be eating if Dak was playing. He'd already be eating. Stand-up guy, head coach, no more pushovers. Yep. We have a GM with no football awareness, no doubt, sitting up there with a play sheet. Also, big body wide receivers give slimmer DBs fits, no doubt, for sure, no doubt. D-Law wouldn't get his shoulder worked on until they paid him. He out of here. He's already dug it in the fan. What's going on, 70s? He's already dug a hole in the sand, and he's basically saying, I'm not going out like Willie Fufu. I'm going to get my body right, and I'm playing after the Cowboys. That's telling me that he's concerned about what he's going to look like after the Cowboys. Yep, Ohio State, nice wide receiver. 49ers and Dallas pretty much need the same type of quick rebuild. Yep. And, hey, no cap, I'm trying to tell folk, man, Brock Purdy, he ain't no bum. But I'm not going to be surprised if Kyle Shanahan weighs out all his options at quarterback. I'm not going to be surprised. Niecy said the culture with this team is horrible. They telling the owner GM what they're not going to do and still have a job. Would that work on your job? No, you would be fired. Trade those people. I tell Michael Parsons straight up, you either playing linebacker or we're going to trade you. So if you want to play defensive end, we'll trade you to a team. You want to go Dan Quinn? We'll let you go if you're going to give us 4 draft picks. And Dan Quinn, he probably would. He probably would. I think the Cowboys want to run back Jonathan Brooks from the Texans in the draft, but Carolina scooped him up before Jerry did. Yeah, that's the story of our life, though. Mingo is exactly why you got to play Trey Lance. Yeah, I see what you're saying there. Trey has a hell of an arm. See, that's the thing about Trey Lance. You got a cannon on him. He just needs some reps to get his touchdown. Micah, heck no. Nope. I'm telling you, man, I'm not sold on what Micah did yesterday. I think Micah had a lot of extra motivation. Niecy, what do you think? I think Micah was motivated by the fact that people like Niecy, and she wasn't the only one saying it. I'm sure he didn't come on this live stream and see what Niecy said. But she wasn't the only one saying stuff like that. Oh, yeah, his buddy, Dan Quinn. Everybody was thinking that. And so to me, I think Micah went out there with something to prove. I'm not going to do this for my buddy. And he went out there and played. Yep, Niecy, I agree with you. He need a real coach. I'll tell you something. If he would play right, I think Zimmer can turn him into a real monster. 70s fans say he's a freak of nature, but I want to see him at linebacker on some blitzes. And the way that Zimmer kind of used him yesterday, kind of moved him around. Niecy, D-Law already called you to cocaine. Hey, you know what? It sounds like a joke, but I wouldn't be surprised he have. Chris says, I'll be honest, G. I was excited when Zeke came back, but when he wasn't really doing anything, I was like, why'd they bring Zeke back? And he's been a cancer in the locker room. And that's the part where I'm disappointed with Zeke. Kevin says if he stay focused and let him play his right position. Micah, yep. They're ruining this young man. I would love for them to let him go to linebacker and let him truly eat. Let him truly eat. I said the same thing, 70s fan. Stop letting CeeDee, man, do people not understand how small CeeDee Lamb is? CeeDee Lamb, and I still say he's top 3, but he's a finesse receiver. He needs a big-bodied receiver opposite of him. And that wide receiver needs to be the one running those doggone jet sweeps. Don't get me wrong, CD Swift. But I don't like when CD has to cut up the field. Nah, he need to let somebody else get him. Not his buddy, his player, Uncle DZ. Hey, I'm telling you, I think that joke has something to prove. And I think that's what motivated him too. And so I don't know about y'all, but a lot of y'all said the same thing. I'm not sold. I'm not knocking, but I'm not sold on what Micah Parsons did yesterday. I don't need to see it against the Giants either. Even though the Giants manhandled him the last time they played him, and that's when he got hurt. I need to see Micah Parsons do this, what he did yesterday, because the knock on him, he hasn't done it down the stretch nowhere. He hasn't done it down any of the stretches when they won the 12 win seasons. He's disappeared in playoffs. We know how talented he is, but we need to see, if we really saying that this guy is what he is, we need to see Micah Parsons do this where he did yesterday on the biggest stage when all the marbles are on the table. He disappeared in the Green Bay game. He disappeared in those San Francisco games. He disappears down the stretch. When will we get a signature game out of him? I think we're going to get another opportunity next year. We'll see how it goes. Linebacker, the boys allergic to yeah, the Cowboys ain't heard of what's going on. You said he's allergic to stopping the run. You know what? That might be why he want to play DN. Maybe he don't want to tackle. You might be on to something there. Maybe he don't want to tackle. Maybe that's why he only likes going for the quarterback. But he's undersized. He's undersized. Gabe said, did you hear Micah's press conference after the game? He said, we ain't tanking for the draft picks we playing. Wonder where you heard that from. They were listening. They've been listening to the press. And not only that, he realizes he's been saying some things that would make you believe that the team is tanking. He's been saying stuff. Big Hinton Law and Service says CD is not a number one receiver, too small. He's a finesse receiver. Man, you know what? And we can call him a number one if we want to. But I'll tell you this. Could you imagine what CD could be with another big-bodied receiver taking some of the pressure off him? Man, CD one-on-one, he nasty. Man, he nasty with yards after the catch. He nasty with yards after the catch, Big Hinton. I'm telling you, he nasty with yards after the catch. B Unit says we need to boycott them boys. There ain't gonna be no boycotting the boys because they won that game yesterday. I mean, it's like they won the whole they won the whole fan base back. Gabe said Michael should have a field day against the Giants. Tommy DeVito and backup left tackle. Oh yeah, yeah. Hey man, I'll be totally shocked. We're gonna talk about this on Wednesday, but I'm gonna be totally shocked if the Cowboys get beat by the Giants. Boy, I'm sorry. It will literally have to be the worst loss of the season. It will. So here's my next question. This is a very interesting Overreaction Monday. Did the Cowboys try to win? I mean, I'm not saying they didn't try to win, but did they try to win? And what I mean by that is we know they were in tank mode. And I'm going to tell you something about tanking as a team. You can't go to your team and say we're tanking. You can't. If you went to your team and told your team or told people the team was tanking, you would get in some serious trouble. So you can't go and say the team is tanking. You can't do that. Now, you can have some conversations with some people. And I believe they've been having conversations with CD, Micah, Dak Prescott. But you can't tell teams to tank. And I think what we saw yesterday is a team that's in tank mode. But they can't But they can't make the team be in tank mode. And I think that's what we saw. And so when I say that they try to win, you heard Micah Parsons, some of us, someone mentioned it about, we're not in tank mode. I think they are in tank mode, but I think they wanted an organic tank. Like, we're going to play hard. We're going to play the young guys. But at the end of the day, even in playing hard, we're not going to win those games. We're not going to win those games because we're going to play young guys. We're not going to win the game. And what happened to them yesterday, I want y'all to think about this. And that's why I asked the question, did they try to win? Because Gabe says they wanted to beat Dan Quinn more than I. He said more than I beat Tita. Well, the reason why I'm saying that is you think about what it really took for the Cowboys to win the game. It was some of the craziest thing. I mean, this was the craziest win I think I've ever seen. And this is why, for me, I know that I know even Mike McCarthy has the tank memo. I know he has it. Nisi says, Mike McCarthy probably said in a roundabout way that we're not going to tank. I think they were told, and as the game unfolded, the Commanders kept trying to give them the game. I'm about to tell you why I agree with these perspectives. Yes, because some of the players are playing for a job next season. Now, all of these are going to my explanation on this and what I just explained. Yes and no. They almost collapsed. They had 4 of the weirdest in-game plays I can ever remember happening in one game. Turpin, kickoff return, 27-20. Daniels to McLaughlin, 86 yards, 27-26. Dan Quinn panicked. I believe he should have went for 2. Watch this. Were they trying to win, or did they luck into a win? Because you got to ask yourself, how does Jaden Daniels, how does he complete an 86-yard pass? The secondary played well all day. And when you look at the run that he made, it's like nobody could push him out of bounds. What in the world? You're looking at this play going, typical Dallas. They're going to lose it at the end. And then another weird thing happened. The snap was bad. The holder barely got it up there. And they missed the extra point. All of this happening back to back to back. How? Were they trying to win? Or did they luck into a win? So, him missing the extra point, it flips the game now into a mode of, I mentioned it earlier. Turpin returning the kick says to Cooper Rush and Mike McCarthy, the pressure has been alleviated. We don't have to go out and have a game-winning drive. We don't have to make Cooper Rush play outside of himself, do something he hasn't done all day. Throw the ball on every single down. Then they get to pin their ears back. No, he returns the kick. They don't even have to hit the field. This saved Cooper Rush and Mike McCarthy. And I'm not saying they couldn't have came out there and won. Maybe they could. But I'm sure you would much rather have it play out the way it did. Cavante Turpin returns the kick. Now you're up 27-20. What you thought would never happen happens. They missed the extra point to tie it up. I think they should have went for 2. I'm at home. I'm going to bury you, and I'm going to put it right back in the lap of your backup quarterback. But you missed the extra point. So now you have to do an onside kick. How successful have those new onside kicks been this year? Haven't been that successful. You kick the onside kick, and then Thomas returns the onside kick for a touchdown? Where they do that at? Where do they do this at? In 1 quarter? In 5 minutes, all this happens. Were they trying to win? Or did they luck into a win? It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. This was literally one of the craziest wins I've ever seen. You couldn't walk away from this game feeling like we beat the world. Yeah, we beat the Commanders. We're glad Dan Quinn, all this. But at the end of the day, this had to be one of the luckiest, crazy games I've ever seen. Did some of the players want to win? Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did. But then the way the game started kind of going, okay, wait a minute. It looked like somebody is saying, hold on, let's kind of give it. Because the Cowboys tried to give it away with the pass that Daniels made to McLaughlin. But what nobody anticipated, and I'm telling you, this is why I'm not sold on the win like everyone else. We could run the table. Well, yeah, if everything's going to happen the way it did in this game. 10-9 in the third quarter. And then you score 24 points. You scored 24 points in the fourth quarter. And what, 14 of those within the last 4 to 5, 3 minutes of the game? Craziest ending, I'm telling you, craziest 5 minutes of a game I've ever seen. Insanity. Insanity. Nisa said, gee, you forgot one person that knows about the team tanking. The whole... How Aubrey, of all people, all of a sudden missing field goals. And it was like, you know what, Nisa, it's like they trying to get a game away. And the 70s fans said, but the Commanders were trying to give it back to them. The Cowboys couldn't even give the game away. They couldn't do it. The 70s fans said these players are trying hard to get a job. See, and this is the thing about a tank. And this is why the organic tank, it's one of the slickest ways of doing it. You put in guys that they're not a part of the tank. They're playing hard for their position, right? And you know that more likely than not, with all these young guys playing, the chances of us winning, what? Depending on who we play, 60-40, 70-30, 80-20. But we get young guys trying hard, playing hard, and so we get them trying hard and playing hard. It don't look like we're tanking. And if they make some kind of weird mistake, or if they get beat on some play, we kind of anticipate those things. We know they're going to play good, but not good enough to win. But you know what no one anticipated? This man right here doing a John Madden spin move and returning a 99-yard kick. How do you anticipate that? See, when you organically tank, you're thinking stuff like this is not going to happen. You're thinking that surely nobody is dumb enough to kick the ball to Turpin. I mean, this is what you're thinking. Surely Dan Quinn is not dumb enough to kick the ball to. He kicked the ball to, but Cavante Turpin is gone. Of course he is. He don't need much daylight, y'all. He's arguably the fastest dude in the NFL. You don't anticipate these things happening. You just think we let all these young guys play. Surely they'll lose the game, but they'll look good doing it. Tanking is weird because you don't tell everybody you're tanking. And you encourage people to play hard. But notice, you encourage people to play hard who you know have not been getting a lot of game. So you encourage them to play hard because you know more likely than not, they're not going to win the game. I'm telling you, Nisi, and you think about it. You let's say the Holder thing, but you're not going to tell Turpin that. Because do we not realize something? Turpin is going to be up for a contract soon. It's time for Turpin to get paid. Cavonte Turpin, y'all, we may not realize it. Cavonte Turpin is so underpaid for the Cowboys. He's so underpaid. And Kevin, I don't know about Mike McCarthy wanting his job, but I think Mike McCarthy know he don't have a job. But you have to think about this part of it too. For Mike McCarthy, if Jerry Jones is not going to extend his contract, right? And he knows, so let's just say the Cowboys are tanking, right? So for Mike McCarthy, what does it benefit him if he's not going to be here next year? And that's why I still say, until this man packs up his stuff and walks out the door, I'm still not believing that Mike McCarthy is not going to be the coach for the Dallas Cowboys. And so, if he's not going to be here, well, what does it benefit him? What does it benefit him to tank for Jerry Jones and get Jerry Jones the number 7 draft pick in the NFL draft, and he's not going to be here to enjoy it? So for him, Mike McCarthy is like, hey, you know what? Win, we win. But I'm telling you, man, Jerry Jones's reaction to the game, let me see if I can get it before we get off here. Their reaction to winning this game, I've seen them look better in the losses than they looked in the win yesterday, especially Jerry Jones. The last time the Dallas Cowboys scored 24 points in the game was against the 49ers on October 27th. They scored 24 points in the fourth quarter yesterday. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. I just never seen nothing like it. It was a crazy game. The young guys playing are the ones we said that should be starters. And see, that's how you organically tank. You let those guys play. But you know, the monkey wrench in the plan? I'm about to show you the monkey wrench after I read a couple more comments. Turpin equals Devin Hester. Woo, man. Man, he getting close, ain't he, Cowboy Hate? He getting close. Bro, I think Mike is coming back. I've been saying the same thing, Paul. We talked about that in the beginning. I mean, how many games does he have to win to come back? And he mess around and win 5 of these next, what? He mess around and win 5 of these next 7? Or 6 of these, 5 of these next 6? 4 of these next 6? Man, he can make a case. I think Cavonte Turpin should be 3rd wide receiver. His speed would help take some pressure off CD. Well, I think they tried that. But I think what they need to do is they need to bring him in. Even if you're going to bring him in the 4th, I say what you do is you keep him in motion. You keep him in motion. You put him in different spots. Don't line him up in the slot. Line him up in the backfield. Line him up line him up on the edge of the line. Line him up all kinds of ways. You let Cavonte Turpin stay moving. Let him stay active so that he's hard to track. But I'm going to show you why the part that they're not thinking about. This is the problem with Cavonte Turpin, y'all. This is the part ain't nobody talking about. Look at this contract. Do y'all know Cavonte Turpin is severely underpaid? Cavonte Turpin, who has been responsible now for, and they didn't beat the Texans, but the catch and run he made against the Texans was crazy. And so now we got him here, and what he's done against the what he did against the Commanders, y'all see his pay? This man is making $985,000. Unrestricted free agent. Unrestricted free agent. You don't think somebody is going to want to get Cavonte Turpin? I bet you they're licking their chops right now. What do y'all think Cavonte Turpin worth? I'm thinking he's at least. I mean, I don't even know what the pay range is. I don't even know what the pay range is for these returners. Let me see if you can find it. I mean, I don't know I don't really know what the pay range is for him, but I can tell you this. I know he's worth more than what Dallas paying. We know Dallas cheap. Dallas always want to pay you at the bottom of the totem pole. So Kevontae Turpin is not only a returner, Kevontae Turpin is a wide receiver. So how do you pay him? You can't just pay him as a returner. You got to pay him as a returner, and what does he do? He return kicks. So what are you paying him? I can tell you this. He worth more than $985,000. I'm with you, Jay Recruiter. I think you got to pay him $5 million at least a year. You have to pay him at least that. And the Cowboys are so cheap. I don't know. They got a lot of decisions to make. But I think we may see Kevontae Turpin returning kicks against us next year. Turpin should be used like Cole Beasley for Dak. I agree. I think you even pay him. I say, hey, man, I tell you what, we'll pay you more than $5 million. How about we pay you like $7 million a year? How about we give you a 4-year, $28 million deal, $21 million guaranteed? That'll boost you up to $7 million a year. You know, you got to pay this dude. All the more reason Turpin should be on the field right now. If Dallas don't pay him, someone else will. Oh, they are. I can tell y'all now, Kevontae Turpin, for what he's done the whole season, he going to be an all-pro. He going to be an all-pro. Watch what I tell you. And every team out there is already looking at his contract. If I was Jerry Jones, this is what I'm telling y'all. Jerry Jones is the problem with this team as it applies to the salary cap and how they do players. I'm going to tell you what I would do if I was the GM. Kevontae Turpin would already be signed. I'd have signed him right after this game. I wouldn't even wait till the end of the season. I'm signing him after this game right here. 4 years, $28 million, $21 million guaranteed. Kevontae Turpin should be a huge part of this team going forward. Kickoff returns, punt returns, gadget guy, your fourth wide receiver. And we can call him the fourth wide receiver, but I would have him in motion. I would have him all over the place. And as a matter of fact, I'm just telling you the kind of offense I would be running. Kevontae Turpin is actually not leaving the field for me. I probably would run mostly 4 wide receiver sets when you got a guy like Kevontae Turpin. I would. You get the opportunity to spread out an offense the entire time. You got speed on the field. Jonathan Mingo. I think Jonathan Mingo runs a 4.46. You got him running a 4.46. You got Kevontae Turpin on the field. Who are you going to get in the draft? Maybe they run a 4.4, 4.5. I would keep speed. Who are you going to get at running back? Get you a 4.4, 4.5 guy. I would keep speed on the field all the time. And I would constantly keep Kevontae Turpin in motion. If I don't have him in motion, okay, line up outside. I'm going to bring CeeDee Lamb in motion. I'm telling you, man, when you have an opportunity like the Cowboys have, they could really be doing something with this team, and they're not doing it. And this is why I say, you know, with a person like Mike McCarthy, my problem with him, he's not quite as creative enough, I think, to use the type of and do the type of things I'm talking about. Yeah, Kevontae came from the USFL. They keep having luck. They got him. They got Brandon Aubrey, and now these guys need to be paid. McCarthy may be trying to show other teams for a head coaching job. Everybody knows what he is, Kevin. They know what he is. He's a West Coast. He loves the West Coast offense. That's Mike McCarthy for you. And Mike McCarthy, until he revamps what he does, nobody's going to deal with him. I don't think he'll be a head coach again. Nietzsche said we are blowing $5 million for a third-string quarterback to hold a clipboard and come in for one play. Pay him that money. Yes. No doubt. I would already pay. Turpin would be high on my list. I'd already have Turpin paid. We'll see if Jerry still likes his guys when it comes to Turpin. He'd be crazy to let this dude go. Because watch this. Could y'all imagine the Eagles with Kevontae Turpin? Don't even want to imagine it, do you? Imagine the Detroit Lions with Kevontae Turpin. With everything they have right now, they get Kevontae Turpin. We don't even want to imagine that. You mess around and let a good team get Kevontae Turpin, they're going to tear up a division. They're going to tear up a division with Kevontae Turpin. Kevontae Turpin needs to be signed, and he needs to be signed fast. Andy Reid would turn him into the cheetah. Oh, man. Could you imagine Kevontae Turpin? Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid? Man, I'm telling y'all. I would already have Kevontae Turpin signed. It don't make sense he's not. Brandon Aubrey, I'd have been them signed Brandon Aubrey. There's no point. There are certain players you know that, you going to get rid of them? I would already sign Brandon Aubrey. I'm not playing around with Brandon Aubrey and Kevontae Turpin. I'm not letting the competition for free agency, even though Brandon Aubrey will still be signed. I'm not going to be surprised now that Todd Francis is Brandon Aubrey's agent, the same agent that Dak Prescott have. Brandon Aubrey, I see a holdout coming for Brandon Aubrey in the offseason. Because the only one that hasn't held out for this team is Dak Prescott. He's the only one who hasn't held out. Everybody else holds out and get their money. And I believe that Brandon Aubrey is going to hold out for the Cowboys and not going to kick for him on that little rinky-dink contract he has. 70s fan says, but gee, they're the Cowboys. Yep. Turpin on the Chiefs. What about Turpin? Lord forbid. No cap probably gone. Lord forbid Kevontae Turpin on the 49ers. We'd never beat him. We haven't beat him in 3 years. We wouldn't beat him again. I'm telling you, man, the Cowboys need to sign Turpin. I don't understand it. He's a game changer. Kevontae Turpin cost the Cowboys four spots in the draft on Sunday. Kevontae Turpin cost them 4 spots in the draft, man. Kevin Howard said some other team's going to pay Kevontae Turpin. The Cowboys are going to lose him and hate that because they're cheap. I'm sorry. I'm not letting this dude go. He's just too fast. 4 years, $28 million, 21 guaranteed. I'm going to at least have him 3 years. At least 3 years. Freddie says, I haven't seen speed like Turpin's. I was just about to say that. Bobby Hayes. Bullet Bob Hayes. One of the original fast men in the NFL. Boy, Bob Hayes, woo, poor people don't understand how fast he was. Robert said, remember what Turpin said when he heard about the change to the kickoff rules. He wasn't lying. Hands down, special teams player of the year. I said when they made the rule change, I said Kevontae Turpin gonna eat. And he eating. Gabe, Chiefs got eyes on him already. I bet you a lot of teams have him on their board. Cowboys wait to the end of the season. The Cowboys will not be able to compete with other teams. They won't. That's why I would go ahead and do it now, because once you see what the demand is, see, that's why I keep telling people they don't understand business and football business, because you're worth what the demand is for you. And that's why when people, they have me laughing when they say Dak Prescott wasn't worth the money. You know what made him worth the money? Not just his performance, the demand. If the demand isn't there, you don't get to demand anything. If nobody wants you on your job, you don't get to walk into your boss's office talking about, pay me, make me the highest paid person at the job. Why? Why should we make you the highest paid at the job? Because I said so. But if you are at some Fortune 500 company and you are pivotal to your job and you got 3 other job offers from top firms, and they want to hire you, agencies, you roll right into your job and you say, boom, boom, boom. I want this money, or I'm going to either boom, boom, boom. Demand, baby. And Turpin is making his case. Turpin is not faster than a cheetah or Worthy from the Chiefs, and I'm a Cowboys fan. You know what? I said the same. Man, I'm telling you, man. That boy Tyreek Hill, man, woo, he different. But I would love to see him race. I think Avante Turpin challenged him to a race. They have $23 million sitting there. Pick up the phone and call his agent. I'm signing him. Because I know at the same time, Scott, I'm not getting Tyreek Hill. But I got Avante Turpin. I'm going to go ahead and sign him. It's rumored that Bob Hayes wants officially timed 8 seconds in the 100. Man, I tell you what, anybody ever seen him run? Man, dude was black lightning. Black lightning, no doubt about it. And so let me run through the rest of these really fast on Overreaction Monday. Another one real quick, and I'll go through quickly on the next ones we have left. The next one is the Cowboys play better without Dak Prescott. The Cowboys play better without Dak Prescott. What do y'all think about that? Overreaction Monday. How many teams talk to Todd Francis about Dak Prescott? You know what? I'm just telling you what some of the grumblings were, but I think some of the grumblings were probably somewhere around, 6 to 10 teams? I was telling people they didn't understand something. Dak Prescott was about to change the whole NFL landscape. I heard Mike Tomlin, 49ers, not to mention all those other teams like the Raiders. There were teams. The New York Giants? A lot of people were talking about the Giants. What do you have? The Jets? I mean, there was a lot of talk. They were even going so crazy to say that the Cowboys were going to let, in some weird way, I don't even know how you could pull it off, for Dak to even go to Philly, and I don't even think that would have been possible. They were talking about Washington Commanders? I mean, the talk was crazy. The talk was absolutely crazy. And I think there were going to be teams that if Dak was going to hit that free agency market, I think there are teams with quarterbacks that they would have said, we're going to trade our quarterback and we'll take Dak Prescott. There's no way they pay Dak if the demand isn't there. You can't get me to make you the highest paid quarterback in NFL history if nobody wants me. How do I get you to do it? That's what people don't understand about this game. It's called football business. And Dak Prescott clearly said he wasn't going to be mad if Jerry didn't sign him. You know what that let me know? That let me know right then Dak Prescott had some serious contenders wanting him. Some serious contenders. This team is bad without Dak Prescott. Look at their record without him. And that's the part that people don't know. But I'm going to show people another logic. Because a lot of people say things like, well, this team plays better without Dak Prescott. Well, riddle me this. Gabe says no, but for whatever reason, the Cowboys do seem to play better without Dak. And let's be careful about better. I'm going to show you something, Gabe. The defense plays more aggressive without Dak, and that secondary looks like how it should without Diggs. Now, if Hooker and Wilson can have a seat. I keep saying, limitations breeds creativity. With Cooper Rush, my understanding is different. I can't make a mistake. With Dak Prescott, we can make a mistake. It's that simple. My mind is different. As a defense with Cooper Rush, we can't make a mistake. With Dak, we can make a mistake. I'm the play caller. I'm Mike McCarthy. With Dak Prescott, we can do everything. With Cooper Rush, we can't do everything. Close off this part of the playbook. Close off this part of the playbook. Defense, we need you to play perfect. Special teams, we need you to help us. Running game, we're going to have to rely on you to keep us balanced so we can pick and choose. when we throw, how we throw. That's what I need with Cooper Rush. And so it seems like they play better. Limitations. It's the limitations that says there are things that we cannot do. So let's not do them. Let's not do those things that we can do with Dak. Let's not do those things. We got to be more intentional about how we are doing things. We do. And so that's what you're seeing. I said it before Cooper Rush came. I said, watch what I'm telling you. They're going to dumb down. They're going to totally dumb down everything so that Cooper Rush can be successful. And if you think about it, Cooper Rush has been this is the first game. We're acting like the first few games we saw him, he was doing this. No, he was efficient. Busted coverages by the Commanders helped him out. But I don't think we're going to see that the rest of the season. We're not going to see that the rest of the season, I promise you. When Dak broke his ankle against the Giants, his team couldn't win. I think they were 4-12 or something like that. Well, think about this. Andy Dalton, I can remember talking to some people at church. Ooh, Andy Dalton going to take us to the promised land. He's going to take Dak Prescott's place. Terrible. Terrible. Is Andy Dalton better than Cooper Rush? Because I can tell you at that time he was. He was way better than Cooper Rush. This team long term is not better without Dak Prescott. And when you look at this part of it, this is the part that's really going to blow your mind. Because now, if you're telling me they play better without Dak, now you're going to have to answer these questions. I put no and dumb. Does anybody realize they played better without Parsons against Pitt? Now, people right now are talking about Michael Parsons again like he's the second coming of Lawrence Taylor. And I heard people today say, oh, they need Michael Parsons out there. Well, it's strange to me. Because arguably, their best defensive effort from start to finish the whole season has been against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And they did not have none other than, guess who? Michael Parsons. Defense was fantastic without him. Now, is the defense better without Michael Parsons long term? No. No, it's not. You know what else is strange? They played better without Zach Martin yesterday. Anybody say, is it because Zach Martin is no good? I don't think Zach Martin is what he used to be. I think he's got some issues going on. But if we're saying that, then, hey, this team is playing better without Martin. Or could it be the players that are behind Martin, the players they put in his place, they're playing for a spot? Or they're trying to prove who they are, whatever the case may be. We look at this team. What else did they do? They played better without Trayvon Diggs. And I'll tell you this part, Nisi. You know, we talk about these conspiracies, and I find it to be absolutely strange that the week that Deron Bland gets healthy, now they're saying Trayvon Diggs is going to be out for 4 weeks with a groin injury. Anybody notice how the secondary looked without Trayvon Diggs? Now, we'll see what happens in the long term. But we have to realize from time to time, somebody goes out and someone rises to the occasion. Does that mean that the team is better without that person? Did anybody not want Michael Parsons not to come back? I'll wait. They want him back. Just like people want D-Law back. This kind of stuff happens from time to time. You may even get a starting quarterback to go out and the quarterback comes in, does his thing. Doesn't necessarily mean he's better than the quarterback. Doesn't mean the team is better without him. But sometimes we talked about this. There is, what do we call it? I think it was the Ewing complex or whatever the case may be. That sometimes when someone who's a superstar goes down, people say, we don't have the leeway that we had when he was here. So we got to step it up a little bit more. Doesn't mean the team is better without. It just means that people are a lot more cautious and they do things and move differently when that person's not in. But then when it gets to the long run, you'll notice the longer they go without that player, the more the wheels fall off. The more the wheels fall off. And that's what happens. 70s fan, when Cooper Rush had that 5-1 record, our defense was on fire. That's who Cooper Rush is. He needs everything around him to be going well. How will Michael Parsons play after he gets the bag? And I want to see what he plays. I want to see what he looks like after the Giants game. I don't think the Giants are going to be a problem. I want to see what he looks like against the Bengals. I want to see what he looks like against the Bengals, the Panthers, and the Buccaneers, and then the Eagles again. No, I want to see consistency, not flashes. Not when you're motivated to beat your old coach. Not when you're motivated that you want to stop people from saying anything crazy about you. I want to see what he looks like. Let's get to the next one so I can finish this, and then we'll get out of here. I know Monday Night Football is on. Some of y'all probably is already watching it, and I'm going to move on, too, and get down there and probably watch some of it. And there's another thing that people don't understand when it comes to a team playing better without Dak. So watch how dumb this is, y'all. I want y'all to think on this. So does anybody think Turpin was thinking about Dak being gone, and that's why he returned that kick? Do we think that Turpin returned that kick because Dak Prescott wasn't playing? Did that have anything to do with Dak Prescott? I want y'all to think about this stuff. See, we don't think about this stuff because even without Dak Prescott, that defense kept that game so close, Cooper could play within himself as long as he didn't make mistakes. Run game take care of itself. 3 turnovers by the Commanders. Defense killing it. Special teams plays. Cooper Rush wasn't forced to do anything out of the normal. We play better without Dak. So you telling me that Turpin plays better without Dak Prescott on special teams? That's what you're telling me. That spin move was something that he wouldn't do if Dak Prescott was playing. Is that what we're saying? So we're saying that Bland plays better because Dak Prescott is out. That what we're saying? Deron Bland plays better with Dak Prescott out. So you're telling me that Turpin was thinking about Dak being out and Deron Bland was thinking about Dak being out. We're not thinking. This is dumb stuff. This is the pictures we paint in our minds. Dumb stuff. Nowhere near true. You want to see something else? Do y'all think Dan Quinn was thinking about the fact that Dak Prescott was not playing for the Dallas Cowboys, and so Dan Quinn says, we're going to go for 1 point instead of 2. Is that because of Dak Prescott? Dumb. We don't realize there are things that are happening in the game. Things are happening in the game, and all of these things are helping not only Cooper Rush, these things are helping the whole team. We think when we don't like a person, this is why we have to be careful. When we don't like a person, they're always the reason. If we like them, we give them every excuse. Every excuse, and everything they do is good. And they don't do anything wrong. This is the problem. Time greatness. If he's inconsistent the rest of the games, then I'm going to re-sign Parsons. If he's if not, he getting traded. Yeah, I want to see what he's doing. I'm with you, TME greatness. I'm with you. I think you could use him as a Herschel Walker trade. LaQueen says, honestly, it was a few plays yesterday that I pointed out to my husband where Michael was gassed and did not help on a few plays. I want to see what he does the rest of the season. He was highly motivated yesterday, y'all. Highly motivated. Could you imagine if he didn't play well? What people would have been saying about him and Dan Quinn? No, he wanted to play well yesterday. Second quarter, Chargers 7, Baltimore 0. Okay, yeah, I'm going to get off here in just a moment. Laugh out loud. Some of these Dak haters are funny. You see what I'm saying, Jay Recruiter? Wait a minute. Y'all see what I got on the screen? I'm going to show you how dumb this stuff gets. It gets dumber and dumber. Do you think the holder for the Washington Commanders? Do you think the snapper the holder, and the kicker? Do you think the snap was bad? The holder barely getting it back into place, and the kicker shanking it to the left. Was that because Dak Prescott didn't play? So you're telling me everybody, not only does the team play better when Dak is out, but when Dak is out, even people playing against them play worse. Not thinking. Not thinking. Not thinking. No. Things happen. And things happened in this game that I promise you, these things, I bet you will go 100 years before you have another ending, because this was a history-making game. It'll be 100 years, maybe even more, before you see those chain of events happen in the same game in less than 5 minutes. It was crazy. Nothing to do with Dak Prescott. This team hasn't been playing better without Dak Prescott. It hasn't. Cooper Rush had his best game of the season. And that is funny. Dak Prescott has that game yesterday. Everybody blows it off like it's nothing. Like it's absolutely nothing. Oh, yeah, no big deal. He got lucky. Cavante Turpin returned the kick. They didn't go for the field. They missed a 2-point conversion. I mean, you would be hearing all of these excuses if it was Dak Prescott. But because people hate Dak Prescott, Cooper Rush, in the eyes of some, looked like a hero. The Queen, you would be gassed too if you had 200-plus pounds holding you entire game. He's only human, for God's sake. Well, you know what? I want to see more from Micah Parsons. I didn't see enough. He didn't show me anything yesterday that we didn't already know that he was. Can he do it consistently? Because that's the knock on him. He doesn't do it consistently. That's the knock. And so I think I got a couple of more of these, and then I'm going to let you go. So my next overreaction. Y'all tell me if this is an overreaction. Bring back Mike Zimmer. Bring back Mike Zimmer. Is that an overreaction? Is bringing back Mike Zimmer an overreaction? I'll tell you what I think. I wouldn't be mad. Mike Zimmer has done an outstanding job with this team. He has done an outstanding job with the injuries. Mike Zimmer has been betrayed by bad secondary play. Yesterday, I believe yesterday is the best this secondary has played with Mike Zimmer. It's the best that it's played. Butler, DeRon Bland, whatever they had going on in the secondary, even the safeties look better. Even the safeties look better yesterday with what they had going on at cornerback. I'm telling y'all, and the way they were getting after, I mean, they frustrated Jaden Daniels all day yesterday. I would not be mad if they decided to bring back Mike Zimmer. I wouldn't. I would bring him back. Zimmer has done more with less. He's gotten better by the week. He continues to stop the run. I would not be mad. Y'all tell me what you think. I wouldn't be mad if they brought back Mike Zimmer. I wouldn't. I think he's proven himself. And I think if you mess around and give Mike Zimmer a couple of more pieces on defense, man, get him that guy from Penn State everybody's been talking about. Get him that guy in Demarion Overshown. Man, and move Micah Parsons back to the linebacker. Man, it's not a team in the league that want to see them. It is not a team in the league that will want to see the Cowboys. Robert, you hit it on point. I'm telling y'all, I'm not going to use this game as the litmus test for the Cowboys. I think they were motivated and heavily motivated to beat Dan Quinn yesterday. Them guys, them men, they reached inside of themselves. They were not motivated by Mike McCarthy. They were motivated by this issue with Dan Quinn. And I would dare say, I believe some of them in that locker room, I think they believe that Dan Quinn threw that playoff game. They'll never say it, but I think some of them believe it too. Because if Stephon Gilmore said that to the press, what do you think he said to the team? Some of those players probably walking around the locker room saying some of that stuff after the game, talking to some of the players off the cuff. I believe some of those players believe he threw that game and they were determined to beat that joker. I'm telling you, man, because nah. Dan Quinn, after what he did to the Cowboys, nah, man. Nah. I gotta stop him. Yeah, Dak's record against the NFC East, it is staggering. It's crazy. It needs to be studied. And I think when he comes back, Dak gonna be deadly. I believe Dak is going to be deadly. I'm predicting 2026 will be the year of the chip for the Cowboys. I think they get to the Super Bowl. Yeah, bring back Zimmer. I think Zimmer's going to do some things for us because when you have a defense that can hold teams under 20 points, man, you can beat a lot of teams holding them under 20 points. You can beat a lot of teams holding them under 20 points. TME Greatness says, run it back, Mike Zimmer. He did more or less. I've been saying it the whole season, and he's going to whip them into shape. I say bring him back. Bring him back. I'm telling you, I would not be mad. Bring him back. Keep Al Harris. I think it's going to be hard, but maybe you keep Al Harris and see if you can keep him motivated, keep him working with the young guys. But man, Mike has done his thing. No amount of film watching or switching Mike, that linebacker would change Michael getting because right now the Cowboys don't have the linemen to keep those 200-pound linemen from holding him. Well, I think one of the things they could do if they put him back at linebacker and then let him blitz from the linebacker position, nobody can get their hands on him. That's the problem. They're letting him line up with a hand in the dirt or line up on the edge, and you letting these big guys get their hands on him. Well, don't let them get their hands on him. Let him get a running start from the linebacker position. Let him move. One of the things that I heard Ray Lewis say last night. Ray Lewis said one of the things they did with Peyton Manning. He said because Peyton Manning ate off of pre-snap reads. So he said one of the things that they would do to Peyton Manning, he said they would let Peyton Manning make his, whatever he's calling at the line, whatever he's saying at the line, he said they would wait 10 seconds before they would move. They'd wait 10 seconds. So by the time he was done saying what he was saying, it's time to snap the ball. Then they move around. Michael could eat. He could eat if he gets back at the linebacker position, and he can easily blitz from there. But Michael, I believe Michael's issue about being DN, he want that DN money, and I'm not paying it to him. Nietzsche said, I like Butler's improvement. He missed an INT last week, but not turning around. And yesterday, he was looking for the ball when covering. Yeah, he looked really good. So for me, I say bring Mike Zimmer back, y'all. Yeah, I say bring Mike Zimmer back. And so that's going to be it as far as those, because actually number 10, it's not actually, number 11 is actually not one. But I just want us to understand something about tanking. We have to understand something about tanking. And yeah, I need to put the points down, but we got to understand something about tanking. Tanking is really hard to do. It is. I think some of these players are fed up with all the tanking talk because that says something about a coaching staff and players when they buy into a tank. Who wants players on their team who would actually buy into something like that? So I think what you're seeing is, one, these young players, they're hungry. And then I think you got players, they're tired of hearing this thing about the tank. They're tired of people doing all the talking. And I think some of these players are finally saying enough is enough. And who knows? I think Mike McCarthy may be saying, man, it's getting close to the end. Hadn't heard nothing on the contract talk. I'm about to go crazy up in here. Mike McCarthy might finally do what we've been saying he should have been doing all along. So that was Overreaction Monday for me. I'll be back tomorrow. We got a short week. We'll be listening to some interviews and stuff tomorrow. And then Wednesday, we're going to give our pregame show. And then we'll probably do another pregame show, just kind of touching base on Thanksgiving Day before the game. Or maybe we'll probably do a postgame show and not do the pregame show. I'm pretty sure people are going to be eating, spending time with their family. And so what we'll do is we'll probably have a postgame show either after the Cowboy game, or we'll have a pregame show maybe after the last Thanksgiving game on that Sunday night. But either way, we'll be in touch the whole week. And then Friday, we'll be talking about if the Cowboys are world beaters. Because I'm telling y'all, go ahead and prepare yourselves. The Cowboys are going to beat the New York Giants, and they're going to beat them really good. And everybody's going to be talking about again the Cowboys running the table. And this is going to be some of the most fun conversation. The more they win, the more people going to talk. So I'm here for all the smoke. I gotta change my mind back up, y'all, because I had set my mind in the mode that the Cowboys are going to probably try to lose all the rest of the games. Now I got to put my mindset back in the mode of, okay, the Cowboys not going to start winning games. So I got to get my mind back right so I don't be mad when they win. So we've already killed the top 5. Maybe we can get back in the top 10. We'll see how it goes. Appreciate you, Nisa. You said make fake play sheets. That's it. And I'll tell you what, give him the play sheets. Don't give him the audibles. Don't give him the audibles. Hey, you know what? Some things changed. We made some adjustments. Don't give him the audibles. Robert said if they show steady improvement, give them a shot. Hey, let's see. Let's see. They beat the Giants. You know, then they win. You know, they beat the Bengals. Woo! Fan base going to go crazy. Fan base going to go crazy until we lose. Till we lose. Hey, appreciate you, Gabe. Appreciate you, Nisi. Yep. The 70s fan, I'm telling you, man. Cowboys win out, people gonna lose their mind. And matter of fact, let's see. Monday night. May come back and do a Monday night show. It depends on how everybody's doing it in the house tonight. But either way, I'm going to look at that playoff picture tomorrow. I'm going to show you something fascinating about that playoff picture and why we need to really be kind of pumping the brakes on that. But I'm going to show you some fascinating things about that playoff picture. And like I said, we'll have more things to go talk about. It's always a lot of stuff the Dallas Cowboys. So y'all make sure you hit that like, subscribe, notification bell so you know the next time we post another video on Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. Peace.